According to the thing, we are now live. Good to know. I'll be the judge of that, YouTube. I'll be the judge of whether or not we're live or not. That's my decision. You don't get to make the decision. I'm kidding. Of course, they get to make the decision. Curse the YouTube overlords. Curse them.
Trying to changing the world one person at a time by pissing them the hell off.
Yeah, why don't we just make that the stream? We get to bitch about YouTube for like an hour or so.
That would be funny one day. That definitely would be funny. Maybe we should do that.
Well, all we need to do is just get Englentine on here to complain about his channel being him losing streaming privileges. That'll probably work.
And he still hasn't really figured it out yet how that happened. Crazy times today, but anyway, get started.
We are live.
So what's on the agenda, my friend?
You're cutting out a bit, John. You okay?
Yeah, I'm cool. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can kind of hear you. You're a bit robotic, but I can hear you. Hello, Brain.
It's on a while.
Faulty connection. It happens. Don't worry about it. I have to contend with it with Englentine most of the time when he's on anyway. So, you know, sometimes he robots. It's not a big deal. Hello, brainstormer of pop culture. Salutations to you too. John is a robot. Shoot him. No, Omnitron, we don't shoot John. John is a lovely robot. We don't shoot the nice robots.
I don't know about all that.
Well, I mean, if you want to shoot the robot, I guess you can. Hello, Rashad. Okay. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce the last name, but hello. How are you?
What's the start with it?
It's spelled Abdul. Abdul, maybe. Samurai Raccoon is also here. I heard that Valiant Comics picked up Heather Antos. No! I heard that too.
Yeah, that's what everybody's talking about because she had this post saying she's back. Good Lord.
Oh, joy of joy. That's going to get some people triggered, I'm sure. Honestly, it's at Valiant, for one. Not a whole lot of people even really read a lot of Valiant comics. I certainly hope that she doesn't get to meddle and destroy those said comic books. I certainly hope not. But maybe she has learned from her experiences. I highly doubt that, but hey, we can always hope for a better tomorrow. But yeah, hey guys, how's it going? Hey Maverick, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Valiant shall eclipse the sun. Never. That's not going to happen, Omnitron, no matter how much you could wish it. Because even I wish that was the case. But they're a small company. I think that if Jim Shooter was allowed to stay in control of the company, probably. That's my personal opinion. Because Jim Shooter was in charge of their editorial for a long time. If he was allowed to stay in charge, they probably would have became a major competitor to Marvel and DC. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, the comic industry sadly is going to be dying, and within the next couple of years, a lot of people think so because things are getting worse and worse, and sadly, more stores are closing.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. I'm just waiting to see if other people shall join the stream. It's normally what the first few minutes of my streams are, just kind of chilling, waiting, and seeing who else might join us. We have 6 people watching, so I'm assuming that there's at least 2 of us. That includes me and John, I would think.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm not looking at anything.
Oh, yeah, you're doing this from your phone, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, you can't see chat. I can. Okay. Image shall rise once more and wipe out everyone. Are you sure about that? Are you positive on that, Omnitron? Do you have some hard facts and data that you'd like to share with the rest of the class? I heard indie comics are the future. I wish that was the case. But yeah, that's the thing. I know that a lot of people are like, with Indiegogos going on and with all these, independent books, making massive amounts of money. It's like, this will save the comic book industry. It probably won't, because like I think I've said this before, and I'll probably have to say it a million more times. Marvel and DC are the two pillars that keep comic books afloat in the US. If they go down, they're bringing everybody down with them. And that includes the independents. I mean, the independents will probably still be it's not like comic books won't be around. They'll still be around, but the industry itself will fall apart. The comic shops will all close down, or they'll just adapt and become some other type of specialty collector shop. Sounds like a lot of my streams. Thank you, Samurai Raccoon. This will not be a peaceful sunset for comics. Why do you say that, Rashad? Why do you say that? For Image was a wider range to pull for stuff to get people into them. Yeah, I know. The thing with like making independent books and whatnot, you can make it about anything. It doesn't just have to be about superheroes or, as they would say, caped characters or anything. You can make it about anything. But Western comics are not, like the Western, or they're not the Japanese manga industry. They're a different animal. And, well, you have things like Diamond and a bunch of other stuff that's really preventing the industry from moving forward. And we'll probably talk about that here tonight. Yeah, Transformers at IDW has been pretty good. I don't know if it's good now. Some people have been complaining about it, or off and on over the last few years. But for the most part, it was okay from what I heard. Yes, Boom Studios' Power Rangers is a goddamn excellent book. We all know this. How about Marvel gives some of their characters to Valiant? Don't you think that might be a bad idea, Maverick, considering who was working there? Don't you think that might be a bit of a hasty decision, sir?
It is a hasty decision.
I think it might be. Because it's like, do we really want Heather Antos to get her grubby hands on other characters again?
Is she an artist or a writer?
She's an editor. She's an editor. She got way too much popularity for being an editor. Yeah. Samurai Raccoon, that's exactly the same point I just made. Western comics are associated with Batman and Superman. Then you could also include things like Spider-Man and Wolverine and stuff. So if Marvel and DC goes down, everyone else joins them at the bottom of the pile. And that was kind of also some of the other stuff that's happened with, Comicsgate and other assorted things, is that you guys are already limiting your audience in a niche audience already. Comic books are not exactly the most popular medium of entertainment. The most popular forms of entertainment are things like movies, TV, and video games. Video games normally being at the top of the list. And comic books are at the bottom of that totem pole. So if you're going to have success, you need to have as broad a reach as humanly possible to reach as many different people as possible. And I personally don't think you can do that if if you're just solely getting money from Indiegogo, or if you're solely dedicated to Comicsgate and just that particular following. You need as many people as you can possibly get. You want comic books to succeed, everybody needs to be there. Not necessarily, and the thing is like, people would probably tell me like, oh, but the anti-Comicsgate and the SJWs won't like the books. It's like, that's fine. They don't have to. They're not the target audience. The target audience is everybody, the normal people who aren't crazy and deranged. That's who you should be after.
That's the thing about it. Excuse me. All these different creators out here, all this stuff going on. To people need to cater towards everybody. I understand you have disagreements with these people. I understand that, you know, a lot of these SJWs are a pain in the behind, but me personally, I want to sell to everybody. You know, I would rather sell to everybody, make money from everybody. And, you know, a lot of this drama and infighting and this war with these SJWs that will never end.
Yeah.
A lot of it could be ignored. Let's just focus on making good content, making good books, and having fun and making money. Those who can make some money. Because if you put your imaginations and your mind to it, you can make a lot of money. Everybody can. But I mean, all the fighting and arguing and acting a fool isn't going to get anybody anywhere, sadly.
No. No. And like I said, limiting your audience isn't going to help you either. And unfortunately, though, that's kind of the route that some of them have taken, it would seem. It's like they would rather just sell to one particular niche group or niche audience. I think that, what was it? You know, I remember talking to some people, and it's like they seem to only be interested in talking to like people like Ethan, and others are only interested in selling to people who are like baby boomers and whatnot. Or that seems to be their target audience, because they are focused wholly on physical comic books or physical graphic novels. And as wonderful as that is, there are many caveats and shortcomings that come with that. The biggest one, delays. And it seems as though delays are on the top of everybody's shit list lately. It's like, why is this book late? Brainstormer, do you want... Oh, you want to come on? I don't think we've ever had you on before. Let me... I have you as a friend on Twitter, don't I? Or you've messaged me before, right? Hold on a second. Let me see. Let me see if I can find you. Yes, I did. Oh, okay. All right. Hold on a second. Let me see if I still have the link. Do I still have it, or do I have to copy it again? No, I still have it. Sure. Okay.
The main thing we got to do, all those who create, you're creating a book, right, Nightwolf?
Not. I'm in very early stages of a lot of stuff.
But are you planning on doing a project down the line?
Probably at some point. Delays, right, Richard?
I mean, the main thing we all can do is like try to build an audience, try to build a fan base, keep it positive the best way we can. Because even a sort of kind of controversial stream I was on the other day, Vance Garber said the comic book industry is dying. Marvel and DC aren't going to be around for long, and I mean the only saving grace might be all these indie creators, you know, all these indie go-go's and stuff. That's all fine and dandy. We need more people out there doing their thing, bringing some new mythology to the limelight.
Yeah.
Because the way DC and Marvel are going, you know, all those people that we fell in love with, like, you know, Superman, Batman, you know, people like Captain America, Spider-Man, they're not going to be around for too much longer. And I don't think IDW could hold on to get all those licenses from Marvel like people think they will and use them all the proper way.
Yeah. Well, I think I had a stream similar to that in the past. Hello, Brainstormer. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How you been? How's your project coming along?
Pretty good. Still trying to write everything out.
Awesome. Good. That's what I like to hear. I eagerly await the next part. You can, if you want to share that with me again, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of trying to just sell the first issue first, which is, you know, like the prologue and the first part of the act, and then you know, plus I got some other projects working on too.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, actually. Yeah. You never know. But what I was going to say, I did a stream. It was like back when my computer was or at least this computer was broken, and I was using another one, and I was talking to Professor Geek about my comic book project and whatnot, and he's always been the guy who's like championing for creating mythology and because that's what comic books are. They're modern mythology. So the only thing I can think of when people bring out that the comic book industry is dying is one of two things. The industry dies, Marvel and DC go under, along with their comic books probably being either divvied up amongst several different publishing houses, or they may stop making the books entirely and simply focus on films and TV. And then there's nothing really left but whatever independent companies are still around. And then it would be up to them to pick up the pieces, if they even can. The best option I can think of is if the entire industry goes down from the ashes, you would have to create an entirely new mythology. A new industry would have to rise from the ashes and start over. At least that would be my assumption, or at least worst case scenario. But enough about my crazy brainstorming. How about you?
That's pretty much what's going to have to happen. I mean, things aren't getting better, sadly. I want them to, but both companies are plagued with bad writing.
Yeah.
But only one of those companies is plagued with terrible art and bad writing. And only one of those companies is plagued with terrible art, bad writing, and politics that we don't need in fictional media.
Well, yeah. The thing is that sometimes bad writing is unavoidable.
It's bad writing across the board when it comes to Marvel, though. I mean, DC has bad writing too, but Marvel has bad writing, bad art, and SJW politics we don't need in fictional stories.
Right, you're right. Okay, Brainstormer, you wanted to add some 2 cents in here, so here's your chance, man.
Yeah. Personally, I know a lot of people are saying like the industry might be, I know it is failing right now, and I did want to bring up, like, I went to my comic shop last week, and I was seeing like issues of stuff, Marvel titles, and this also goes back to like months, maybe a year ago too, where I'd see like issues like 2 years old still on the rack.
Yeah.
So
when I went with the comic shop that was in the town that I live in now, that was the same thing. There were books that were on the shelf that were from 5 months ago, 6 months ago, and a lot of those books also end up in the long boxes. And yeah, because that was, that's a pretty decent segue actually, because I have this article that people have been sharing around from IZV2 from Coliseum Comics, talking about his entire situation and saying like something has to change, something has to give. And while watching people discuss this article, I don't really want to bore everybody with the details of reading this article, because more than likely most of the people in my audience have probably already seen videos discussing it, or people have probably read it themselves. But I think right now the best course of action for the industry right now is for the comic book shops to finally put their foot down. And I'm not just talking only a few of them, but all of them need to rally and put their collective foot down and tell Diamond to either change or make room for new competition to take over.
But I mean, even if Diamond wasn't the factor with their overshipping or, messing up orders, nobody's really buying. Only a select few people buying these books. Well, I mean, the books have to be good for people to buy. You could fix the problem with Diamond over shipping. What do you want to say?
You're not wrong, John, about the bad books. That's not really the issue. That's only like one element to the whole problem. The problem is, the company.
If we fix the thing with, go ahead, you first.
Well, what I was going to say is that the books themselves are only part of the problem. The industry itself, the companies themselves are predatory. They're taking advantage of the comic shop owners. And this has been going on for a very long time, and I'm surprised more people
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
When we deal with things like variant covers, when we're dealing with special issues, a lot of this stuff is predatory. It preys on not only the consumers, but it preys on the shops as well, because they have to stock it because they're going to get requests for it, unless they're savvy business people and they know what to avoid. The shops, I'm drawing a blank here. Great. That's what I like to see. Everybody, this thing I'm known for on streams, forgetting what I was trying to say.
Well, I mean, all that's lumped in with Diamond's over shipping and stuff. The over shipping, the crazy variant covers, and either Diamond over shipping or messing up orders. I mean, even if we did correct Diamond or Diamond corrected itself, or they got Diamond to correct themselves, whatever they have you, people still have to want to buy these books. And I mean, sales are also down because the books are bad. I'm sorry. I mean, even if Diamond fixes their stuff, the people have to want to buy these stories. People have to want to look at these Marvel and DC books and be like, oh, this is something I'm interested in. And people aren't buying as much as they used to. So, I mean, you got to fix all those problems too.
Yeah. There's a laundry list of problems. I think that the one thing that's interesting is that a lot of people have focused for too long on the books themselves, but not really paying attention to some of the other problems as well. But there's nothing wrong with complaining about the bad books because that's a problem. But
I mean, me personally, when it comes to variant covers, I wouldn't mind buying variant covers if the story was good. Now, if you're one of those type of people that buys all the variant covers, and then you read a 28-page story or 24, how many pages they put in comic books now, and the story is something that makes you want to throw the comic book out the window, drop a grenade on it, and hit it with some Godzilla atomic breath, you would have wasted your money. But if it's something that you want to read over and over and over again, and come back to a day later, a week later, a month later, something you're going to keep reading until you read it so much until the comic book is falling apart, then buying all those variant covers becomes worth it.
Yeah.
And then later down the line, if you keep it in good condition, it becomes something that's highly valued several years from now. But if it's, mediocre, low-tier stories, but cool variant covers, it's like nobody wants that.
Well, it's been lucky with buying only good books so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking because I was remembering back in the 90s and whatnot, and all the comic book bubble popping eventually, and speculator market being destroyed. It was actually kind of funny. It was this summer I went to it was a very close by, very local, very small Comic-Con. And we were passing by some of the people who were selling books and whatnot, and one guy tried to literally just hand me a copy of X-Force #1. We're basically bordering on that territory now. Where
how good is X-Force #1? If I could ask you quick, how good was X-Force #1?
This is the one from the 90s that was drawn by Liefeld.
Is it a collector's item?
No. He was literally trying to give them away. He couldn't even sell them for $1.
Oh my God, that's bad.
Because these books, it's similar to the Jim Lee X-Men #1 issues and whatnot. They overshipped too much. They gave people way too many copies, and they thought, oh, we'll just make a bunch of money off of this. And then those people who are speculators thought, oh, since they're #1s and they have new characters on it, we'll make a lot of money, to go into college or buy a car or whatever the hell you were going to do with all that money. And then you find out about 5 years later that the book's worth absolutely nothing. Not because the books are inherently bad by bad writing or bad art. There was just too many of them. And that's the same problem we have still now. Too many variant covers, too many prints. Because we know that Diamond not only overships, but they overprint the books too. That's the reason why people are talking about that bargain store called Ollie's ending up with a massive shipment of graphic novels, single issues, and whatnot that were in Diamond's literal storage house. These books just do not sell. And both the bad ones and the ones that are at least mildly decent don't sell. Or they hold on to them. They've overprinted. They've overextended themselves. They stock up. No kidding. But yeah, you're getting to the point where people won't be able to give these books away. So many comic shops have tried to sell these books both the bad ones and the average ones, or even the good ones. You need to get people to actually go to a comic book shop to actually care, to actually go out and read. And with all the bad news surrounding comic books, that list of people is getting shorter and shorter. I am very positive on that. They're taking their money elsewhere.
You'd think that the Diamond would start losing money because of all of the overprinting and stuff.
You would think, but apparently they're not bankrupt yet, unless somebody has looked up the statistics for that.
Morally bankrupt.
Maybe they're hiding it.
That could be hiding. Well, and the other thing is that they are the only game in town when it comes to comic book publishing. They're the only option.
What about that thing with Peter Simeti? Like, I heard that some rumor stuff.
Well, I don't think Peter has the means yet to make that happen.
Right.
I did mention it on Twitter when Peter Simeti did point that out. Like, would you pay for competition against Diamond? Would you go to an Indiegogo for a new publishing system that would help the comic shops and whatnot? I'd be down for it. I'd totally be there for him. I'd put some money down for that if it would help the comic shops to stay open, if it would help the comic book industry to kind of at least try and recover. But I don't know if he's making any full-fledged plans at this point. But hey, if he comes out with a plan like in the next, couple of weeks or a couple of months down the road, and he has a plan and he makes an Indiegogo, it's like, I'm going to be there with bells on. Because I trust Peter to do a good job. So, would be nice. And Tripmon is in my chat room, just with a period. Thanks for that, Trip. I appreciate it.
It is kind of sad, though, because you don't want to see the big two fail, and they've been failing harder last year. Yeah. Last year, they failed harder than, any other year. I've noticed them decline, and it's like,
yeah,
you just want to know what's going on in the minds of all these editors, these people in charge, these artists, these writers. Like, are you guys heads so stuck in the clouds that you can't see? You so proud of the work you're doing that you can't see how people are like yelling at you and the numbers, the high numbers to the high heavens about how they want you to change your ways and make this better. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
it's somebody that's a writer.
Yeah,
it's somebody that's a writer myself. If you got a bunch of people that's all saying the same thing, that we don't want to buy this. It's not what we want. To me, that would bother my soul. Yeah. That would tear at my soul.
Right.
All that negativity, and there's more negative comments than there is praise. And it's not because people are trying to be mean or ignorant. It's just that they know that people could do better than this. They want better stories. They want better artwork. They want better behavior from these creators who, treat them like garbage because, you came to them and gave them an opinion, not a mean opinion, not an arrogant opinion, not a hurtful opinion. You gave them an opinion, and it's like,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right now for creators at both Marvel and DC, they're more, beelining and focusing on those more negative and more hurtful people who, or how they feel like these people are out to get them, when they could have avoided most of this if they would have listened to myself and Doug and a bunch of other people who gave them fair warning that this was going to happen. And now they're either desperately trying to damage control their problems, or they're in a mad panic to try and make as much money as they physically possibly can just to stay afloat. Of course, granted, both Marvel and DC do have a security blanket in the way of Warner Brothers and Disney. So even if those two publishing houses fall apart, there will be people who will lose their work and will lose their jobs. But probably the bigger heads will probably not roll, if I were to hazard a guess. At least probably the editors and whatnot will probably be safe.
Well, you know what's going to happen if they decide to get rid of the comic book publishing end of it? They're just going to keep the IPs to make movies and cartoons and merchandise off of.
Of course they are, because that's where the money is. Disney and Warner Brothers only care about money.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line
they'll make more money off.
Exactly.
They'll make more money off the action figures and cartoons and book bags and stuff like that than the actual comic books. So you'll see the comic books disappear, but you'll still be seeing like action figures and book bags and mugs and all the other good stuff being made. So Disney and Warner Brothers really won't be losing. Marvel and DC, the one we used to know, will be, but DC and Warner Brothers, they won't be. I mean, but Disney and Warner Brothers won't be losing.
No, they're not losing right now. They're making money.
Yep.
Despite the debacles that have been happening to like Marvel and DC, when it comes to their studios, whether Star Wars ends up becoming a dumpster fire further or whatever the case may be, doesn't matter. They're still making money because people are still going out and buying other products and whatnot. So they'll be the IPs and whatnot. They're secure. They're safe. The comic books, comic book divisions themselves, they are not safe.
It really makes me. I'm sorry.
I was gonna. No, it's fine. I was just gonna finish my thought of this is crunch time, guys. This is the time you guys all in comic books need to put up and shut up, get your heads out of your asses, and actually do your jobs. Once you do that, then maybe you all won't lose your jobs. Anyway, you were going to say, Brainstormer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of makes me wish we were back in the days where where comics were kind of the frowned upon hobby, where we were treated as the nerds, where it was like, it wasn't the trendy thing to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. That's kind of how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I miss the good old days. Back in my day, I used to have to walk 20 miles to a comic book shop in the snow with bare feet on. I know.
I ain't that old.
Well, neither am I. I'm just making the joke.
Yeah, none of us really are.
We're dating ourselves quite a bit. At least I am. I mean,
even back in the early, because back in the early 90s, from what I remember, the late 80s, early 90s, and also the first time Marvel went bankrupt in the late 90s, comic book shops were
early 2000s was when they filed for it.
Yeah, but they started having trouble in like the late 90s. They started having trouble. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is comic book shops were big, they were busy, and people were flooding them like people were flooding them just like how you see people flooding like Hot Topics and stuff like that today, or like Spencer's. People were flooding comic book shops in like big, large groups buying stuff. Because the 90s was everybody started going edgy. The art was decent. The stories were decent. Even they had some stories that people like, I could take it or leave it, but they were doing phenomenal. Now it's like, oh my goodness, it hurts your head to think about it. Like the change in tone and the change in pace and all that good stuff. You just want good storytelling. That's all you want. Some good old-fashioned escapism storytelling. Now it's like it's like how when Law and Order comes on and they say rip from the headlines, they do like a Law and Order does like a story or like a show based off something they see in the headlines. It's like they watched a bunch of episodes of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Took a bunch of
we're losing John a bit.
I could have got this like Law and Order. Well, people could have got the same type of story.
John,
like, come on, not reality, fantasy.
I wish I could have understood
like,
that.
They're gonna start ripping stories from the news headlines to make stories and like video games and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Before we probably switch topics, can I just add some last thing?
Oh sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So what we want from comics is I can't think of a literary masterpiece here for comparison.
Right.
Chronicles of Narnia, I guess.
That's a good one. That'd
be a good choice.
Yeah. And instead, we're getting Teen Titans Go.
yeah. Thank you. Yes.
In a sense, that's a pretty decent analogy. What we're getting is the shitty version. Yeah. I'll read chat here for a bit, and then we'll probably move on to the next topic. Eric. Hi, Eric Raheen. Welcome to the stream. I'm not so sure how much Disney cares about money these days, considering the decisions they've been making. They are making money, but not nearly as much as they could be. Yes, that is true. They do make some pretty terrible decisions in their own right. But right now, Disney and Warner Brothers, all they're really chasing is that the China market. That's all they're really chasing right now. They'll make more than enough money probably from that for the next 10 years, probably, than they will from us here in America or anywhere else, probably. Also, get off my lawn. Wait, no, let me rephrase it. Get off my lawn! Thank you. Because he should
have said it more gravelly.
Get off my lawn!
Yeah, I guess that was better.
That's the only old man voice I can do right now. Or wait, is there another? Get off my lawn, you filthy animals! There, that better?
That's good.
Yeah, I guess it's better.
I can do old people voices sometimes. The people who love the comic movies were the ones who judged us because we read comic books. You're not wrong, Maverick. You're not wrong. It's now the cool hip thing to do to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC and all these other properties. And now, it's cool now. It's the same like with people who now like play video games and whatnot on a regular basis. So a lot of them are playing like Call of Duty and all these other games. It's like, and some of them used to be the ones that bullied us.
Well, a lot of these normies only see the comic book movies as action movies with capes. That's why they go watch them. They see them as action movies with capes, That's why you got a lot of people that watch the movies and then they think they take the movies as being the only canon or, the main canon. Then when you told them about the comic book the movie came from, they're sitting there dumbfounded and try to argue with you about what's canon and what's not. You can have the comic book in your hand and like, no, this is the story they got it from. And they're sitting there like, oh, no, it's all about the movie. And you're sitting there like, okay, whatever you say.
Yeah. I mean, I got into an argument a couple of days ago because I saw a post from somebody that I followed and they were showing what they considered the top 3 best Spider-Man movies. And one of them I very heavily disagreed with it being the best one, but and then people were Homecoming. Anybody who follows my channel knows I hate Homecoming. Probably more so than I need to. But I defend my right to hate that movie in some form or another. But, the other 2 movies were like Spider-Man 1 and Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know how good Into the Spider-Verse is yet.
I haven't seen that either.
I'm gonna probably watch it this weekend.
But Spider-Man 2 should be like number 1.
It should always be number 1. It's the best one.
Yeah.
Followed closely by number 1. But I mean, my favorite, and the person was arguing with me incessantly that it's like, no, just because you hate the characters doesn't mean the movie is bad. It's like dialogue that makes me want to pull my hair out doesn't count. I mean, it might be based on taste. Maybe some people are okay with it, but I don't like any of the dialogue coming from most of the characters. The only one I care about is the bad guy. All I care about is Michael Keaton in this movie. It's Jessica Jones all over again. It's like the villain's the only thing that's interesting me at this point. Because I don't like Spider-Man and I don't like his supporting cast because they annoy me. And I have fairly valid reasons that they annoy me. I don't like that I don't hate that Aunt May is young. I hate the fact that the movie knows she's young and points it out to me. It's like, yes, movie, I am aware she's a very hot aunt. Now, can we move on, please? I'm begging you.
Yeah, they're like trying to drag the same joke, like the single joke from Civil War, and just dragging it out all over the movie for her character.
You guys stop focusing on the goddamn memes on the internet, okay? We got it.
Yeah, that became another problem in the comic books too. They would see all these memes and stuff, all the stuff going on the social media, the interwebs, and they tried to put the same stuff in the comic book storylines too as the movies, and it's like, come on now.
And some of that is not a good call.
No, give it time. You're gonna start seeing Ugandan Knuckles memes in some of these movies too. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Oh, Wakanda Knuckles.
Yeah, something like that.
Where's Fat Panther when I need him? Damn it!
I would not be surprised if in some of the Marvel movies coming up, if somebody pulls a line like they know the way or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, no, they didn't. or even worse, they're going to do a reference to the Bowsette meme, and then I'm getting up right there and walking out the movie theater.
Well, what was I thinking? T'Challa will say, "Do you know the way?"
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to be in the Black Panther movie. Somebody in there like, excuse me, sir, do you know the way? Like, you know what? I'm out. I ain't paid $12.99 for this. I'm out. I ain't paid $12.99 for me.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I remember like in some of the comic books, some people would, they get a critique for one of their books and then they just kind of keep going with it as a running joke. I mean, I think Frank Miller did that with All-Star Batman because I don't think he really took it all that seriously.
You mean the goddamn Batman?
Yeah, because he kept on doing it.
Yeah. That was kind of funny, though, back when it came out. I
think after the first issue, and everyone is basically saying, my God, why is Batman or the internet basically exploding in a sense of making jokes about, I'm the goddamn Batman? He's like, you know what? If everybody likes that line so much, I'm just going to keep going with it.
Yeah, I'm a goddamn Batman.
Why not? Why the hell not? If it's getting the internet riled up in some form or another, you can play with it a bit if you think it'll be funny. I mean,
you know why? Because that was that's something you never really seen Batman say before, and to hear him talk that cocky is like, okay.
I mean, they had already trashed, Frank Miller at certain points already, so him making a joke out of whatever got the internet riled up would just be probably whatever. It would probably just add icing to his already wonderful cake. It's like, oh, I know you guys detest me. I know you don't like me. So you know what? F you. I'm gonna write however I want to write. You think the line "goddamn Batman" is shitty? I'm gonna keep writing it to piss you off. We can all agree that Amazing Spider-Man is the worst Spider-Man movie ever. Don't you mean Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Amazing Spider-Man wasn't that bad. I liked it.
Amazing Spider-Man is not that bad. Amazing Spider-Man 2, much worse. In my opinion. But I would still much prefer to watch The Amazing Spider-Man over Homecoming. Because I own both of them on DVD, and I'm not afraid to watch them again. I cringe at the opportunity that I may have to watch Homecoming again.
As long as it's not Spider-Man 3.
Oh, I'll watch Spider-Man 3 again, too. I do not care.
You poor guy.
I like it because I know it's a terrible, shitty movie, but I just like laughing at it. I just have fun with it. I know it's shit.
They so totally screwed up on Venom.
I blame Sony.
Yeah, I do too. I was totally pissed at the choice of Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Like, come on, y'all couldn't find somebody who at least was physically imposing like Eddie Brock is. He's physically imposing.
Yeah.
Like, Topher Grace is physically imposing. Like, every time I saw him, it was like, I kept thinking of the 70s show. Like, no.
I think they really should have just kept it with Sandman like how Raimi wanted.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they would have stuck to his original vision, the movie probably would have ended up being a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Sandman by itself.
Yep. Emo Tobey Maguire, yes. Because he's awesome.
I saw a clip where they did a callback to that in Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
If they did, I'll probably notice. I'm like, okay, I see.
Well, they did a clip where they called back to him being acting all evil inside the symbiote.
No, it's like with a dance.
Oh, he dances.
Yeah.
The emo Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 dance. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the worst dancing I've ever seen.
I actually saw like they did this clip where they just took out the music, and it's just like noises of the city and stuff. It's really cringy.
Actually, the cringiest dance move is Adam West Batman, the Bat Dance. That's no cringier than that.
Yeah.
How dare you?
It's true. It can't get no cringier than that.
I like that dance.
It's campy and it's fun, so it gets a pass from me.
That's the entire point of Adam West Batman. You're not supposed to take it seriously, because honestly, I don't think anybody could. Even back in those days, I don't think anyone could take it seriously. I'm pretty sure my mom wouldn't have been able to take it seriously, and she was watching it back when she was younger. So,
all right, picture Christian Bale doing that.
Then
I would love to see that.
That would be hilarious, and then might be considered cringy.
Yeah.
Do you have rent? Do I have the rent? Rent? Please, rent. Give me rent. Yes, thank you for that. Anyway, yeah, we'll shift topic now for the most part. I it was kind of funny. People just did not like my opinion on what I had to say about Homecoming. Weird thing was I couldn't find anybody giving me a valid reason why the movie was good. Or at least as good as they claim it to be. If there weren't 5 other Spider-Man movies, not including Spider-Verse, yeah, guys, then maybe this would have been a good movie. But he had to compete with 2 different actors that had already played Spider-Man. And that's already a problem, because that means they have to create their own different story that's different from the first 2. And good luck with that. Anyway.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
What was that manga anime thing you wanted to talk about?
Tom Holland. Here's the thing. I don't hate Tom Holland. I think he's pretty good. I thought that when I saw him in Civil War, I thought he had some very nice lines, and I thought that the writers did a decent job adding him in. I wasn't a huge fan of him being an obsessive Tony Stark fanboy, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I could kind of accept that. But when Homecoming came out, that's what the entire movie was him trying to be validated by Tony Stark in the Avengers. And I'm like, oh, dear God, please stop. Please stop. You're hurting me. You're physically hurting me in a sense with this nonsense. It's like, he doesn't need to be a part of the Avengers. And Tony, stop ignoring him and just flat out tell him already. Have your assistant call him and say, no, you can't be an Avenger. You have to work for it. Hang up. Click.
Yeah, that ending got me though.
No, the ending wasn't too bad.
No, I'm talking about like him getting Tony asking him to be part of the Avengers after stopping one bad guy.
After stopping one supervillain that barely was on Tony's radar, apparently. That was enough. That was enough. And the thing is like, they've, like, when Amazing Spider-Man, the comic book, first came out, and they did him meeting the Fantastic Four and him trying to join the Fantastic Four. Yeah, that was Peter looking for a job or looking for validation or looking for an easier way out and whatnot. I get it, but it just did not work in this movie. It didn't work in Homecoming. That was the problem for me. It didn't resonate with me. They tried to make the Spider-Man 2 contemporary when I've already seen a contemporary Spider-Man prior to this. I watched Spectacular Spider-Man, guys. And that show is contemporary as hell for its time. And that's all I need. Hello, Script Doctor. How are you? How you been? Good to see you.
I can see why people were saying like, Spider-Man PS4 would be a better way for Spider-Man to be introduced into the MCU.
Yeah, Spider-Man on PS4. Yes, I would have loved that because I actually like that Spider-Man. I would have preferred if they didn't go with the whole he's a teenager route. I know they did it so that they could keep Tom Holland on for a considerable amount of years, but I don't know. I would have preferred an older Spider-Man because to me personally, the best stories with Spider-Man are when he's in college.
Or they could have had him be like an intern at Stark Industries, like in college or something.
Yeah. I'm starting a new job tomorrow. Okay, Script Doctor. Well, congratulations, man.
Good luck with that, friend.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Okay, so the X-Men and Fantastic Four are green light for the MCU now to be used since the deal went through. But we will have to wait next year. I honestly don't care because it's going to be the same humdrum bullshit that the MCU has been for years, and I highly doubt it's going to change anytime soon.
And they're about to go so woke, especially after this Captain Marvel movie.
I feel like X-Men is going to be even bigger for social commentary now.
I wish it would be social comedy, not social commentary.
I don't even know what social comedy is.
Is there such a thing? Oh, wait. I believe the correct answer is no. Oh, wait, no. Social comedy would be kind of akin to people making fun of the modern landscape of politics and whatnot. You know.
And you know the bad thing about all that? The bad thing about that is, you know what they're going to do? They're going to give us all-female Avengers movie. I guarantee you. I talked to England and Marani about this. Yeah. They're going to give, if they decide to do something down the line, let's say they bring in Beyonder. And I'm going to call this right now, too. They're going to give us a female Beyonder just because they can. Because, you know, it's all about the women. They're going to give us a Carol Danvers, her own Avengers team. Yeah. And you're going to see her and possibly Black Widow and Scarlet Witch and, you know, a bunch of other Avengers females are going to be them only. It's going to be like the Marvel MCU version of the last Oceans movie that came out. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're going to try to force feed that down our throats. And then that's when everybody's going to start turning their backs. Not because it's an all-female cast, because they did that for virtue signaling. And I'm telling you right now, we talked about this before, too. If they do introduce somebody like, I don't know, like Dr. Doom or somebody or whatever other Marvel villains they've been waiting to get their hands on to put in the movies, 5 get you 10. I guarantee you they're going to gender swap one of them just because they believe they can. And that's really going to piss people off. They're going to race swap and gender swap. Yep. Just because they think they can. Just because they think they can.
Yep. I'll be right back, guys. I have to hit the John. Not you, John.
Duh, I know what you mean. Way to announce it on a live stream. But no, anyway, I think that's what they're going to do because this Captain Marvel movie is like, the more advertisement I see, the more it's like, no, I'll skip that one.
I don't really see the social justice of it. I see more of it just looks boring.
It does. It looks boring too. I mean, I see small parts of social justice in it. But it also just looks, and then now everybody's complaining about her costume. Like, it just looks, you know, like something made for TV. The whole entire outfit looks like a made for TV something or like a Netflix adaptation or something. And it's like, yeah, I think I can skip this one and still watch Infinity War 2, whatever the hell they want to call it, and still be caught up. Because it's like, come on, can't you guys do better? It's like they're trying so hard to top DC's Wonder Woman. Like, you can't top Wonder Woman. And they're not going to top the second Wonder Woman movie either.
Yeah, the only way you could do that is just treat it as like an actual story with an actual character, not a female character, a character first, female second.
Exactly. And it's like, Brie Larson's not doing that movie any justice either. And like, no matter how many trailers they release, how many scenes they release, it's the same thing. Everybody says she got that same old tired wooden expression that's not getting over well with the fans. And it's sad because they got Captain Marvel appearing in the Disney ride for the Avengers. And the chick they got playing Captain Marvel at the Disney rides in Disney World looks more like Carol Danvers than Brie Larson does. That right there in itself is sad. And she actually smiles. So it's like you got to go to Disney World if you want to see a realistic version of Carol Danvers, a likable version of Carol Danvers, as opposed to the movie.
Yeah, I'm not a big Carol Danvers guy. Like, I don't have much knowledge, so this movie would be like kind of my entryway. And so far, what I've seen, it just doesn't look like that. It's a good character.
You're probably better off reading some of her older Miss Marvel days in the Marvel comics to get, know.
I did see her in Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes, a great cartoon series.
It was.
So it was just. I think that would
even then. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just for what I saw of her in that series, she seemed like a really good character, even though she wasn't on screen all the whole time.
Yeah, even with that, there's certain things they did with her personality. I'm sitting there looking like, what the hell? Because it's like in all these other mediums they have her in, she comes off as arrogant and talkative and, sure of herself, very sure of herself. But then you see her in the movie, in the trailers, it's like she's just snobbish, snarky, and acts like she doesn't have any time for anybody but what she's doing. It's like she's got that resting.
But what I was going to say is that itself isn't a bad thing. It's where, like, you could do something like that if you had a good writer. Like, she could be, like, that could be a facade where she's built up because she's been through something. Like, also, if she doesn't really show emotion, that's because she doesn't want to show any pain or weakness, is what she believes. She doesn't want to be weak in front of people.
Maybe. But, I mean, one of the good adaptations of her personality that I've seen thus far, even though it's a sucky game, but, what is it, Marvel versus Capcom Infinite doing a story mode? The way they present Captain Marvel in the story mode, I could get down with that version of Carol Danvers. Like she was sure of herself. She was funny. She told some real good jokes. She was likable. But then you see her in all these other mediums. It's like, why couldn't y'all emulate that? Why could y'all not emulate that? And that Life of Captain Marvel comic book she was in recently, that's also a poor adaptation of her. Like a really poor. I would not recommend that to nobody.
Well, it's a retcon.
Yeah, but that was
retcon of her history because
it was cringy.
Yeah, and retconning her entire history also does not help either.
It does. They made her mom like what 100% Kree or something.
Yeah, her mom was never Kree. The thing is like they're trying to either alter her history so that she fits more in line with the movie that's coming out, or which is something I've never liked because they've done this with other characters. They've changed their history. They've retconned them a bit. I mean, they did it with Hawkeye, and I've been very upset with how they've handled Hawkeye over the last several years because I didn't like the fact that they gave him the movie look. I'm like, what's wrong with him just wearing a costume? Why does he have to run around in basically tactical gear all the time? It's like, look at Green Arrow. Do you see them changing Green Arrow's costume that much? Aside from maybe making it look more like Kevlar.
Put it like this. I'm okay with retcons as long as it's believable and there's good storytelling. Like, I thought about this in the past too. Like, I could see them, like, take somebody for Batman, for instance. I'm going to throw out a quick retcon. If I was to retcon Batman's complete backstory instead of being a millionaire. What the
heck?
Okay.
Sorry, that was my phone.
Oh.
I mean, if I was to retcon Batman's backstory, instead of him being a millionaire kid who saw his mom and dad get killed at 8, I would retcon him as to being a full-grown adult. He's a police detective. And, the mob or somebody goes after his wife and kid, whatever, and kills them. And then he's already got the training, he's already got the police skills. Then he dons the costume to be a vigilante at night because he can't do it as a cop because then, you take justice to your own hands. They put you in jail for that. You can't be a rogue cop. So then he dons the Batman costume and starts the legend that way.
Still the same character, core to the character, right?
Yeah, just same character but different backstory. That's how I retcon something. That's an example of how I retcon something. And if you do it right, if you're a good writer, it could be believable and people will love it.
Yeah, but there are retcons that have gone in the past that tend to work. And then there's total abominations of retcons that never worked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
That's the interesting thing. I can barely remember any negative retcons that I can think of. Most of the retcons I can ever think of are normally the bad ones that, tweak or change something to the point where it's incredibly stupid. How many times they've retconned Wonder Woman? My God, please stop.
Yeah, because there was a time first she was supposed to be a lump of clay that supposed to molded into a little girl that got brought to life, and then the other retcon was, she's actually Zeus's daughter now.
Yeah, well, that's not the only retcons they've done of her over the past. It's not as bad as other characters have gotten, but they have trouble sticking to one story or another. Whenever a writer comes in to write Wonder Woman, they tend to retcon or change something about the character for no reason whatsoever. And it's like, you guys need to stick with the original vision and the original focus.
I remember when they tried to retcon Shazam, the original Captain Marvel, they tried to make him edgy and dark back in the 80s. And I'm looking like, no, that's not Billy.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
That's not Billy. They tried to make him edgy and dark for a minute, like that's going to work. Like, no, Captain Marvel isn't edgy. He is not edgy. He is like a ray of sunshine in the DC universe.
Yeah. I mean, I think the worst retcon for any character I've ever seen that they still don't know what to do with, and the history of what to do with, is Donna Troy. They have no idea what to do with her as a character or as a backstory. They've retconned her story so much. It's a goddamn disaster. I can't even explain it. You'd have to go online and find a video discussing her history or all the different retcons, because it is a mess and a half to contend with that character. I literally cry and weep for every writer who has to write her.
I would really just retcon her to be like a young Amazon on a mascara that wanted to be trained by Wonder Woman. And so she started training with Wonder Woman.
That was one of her backstories.
Wasn't she like the sister of Wonder Woman?
She was
another one, right?
I can't even. That's the thing. I can't remember the retcons because they kept on changing it so frequently. I think most writers just tend to avoid it entirely.
I would have either made her the daughter of Wonder Woman or a young Amazon that wanted to idolize Wonder Woman and wanted to train with it.
I think her original origin was that she was just a young Amazon under the tutelage of Wonder Woman, and she was the original Wonder Girl. And then
I would have made her the daughter of Steve Trevor and Diana Prince.
That would have probably been that would have been an option too, but that never happened. But sadly, I'm pretty sure somebody would make that a retcon. Of course, then that would make Wonder Woman and Trevor much older than what they actually are, because
not necessarily.
Donna's a full-grown adult at this point.
And of course, Diana's older than her, though. Of course, she's like what, maybe like 20-some years older than her. They could still make that work.
She's also immortal.
Yeah, she's immortal.
Exactly.
So. Well, I'm saying that Trevor would be like significantly older.
Okay, he could be an old man all he wants to, and of course, he's around in her life.
You could do Barry Allen the Flash type stuff and say that she's from the future.
Well, I mean, what they could have did, since she's immortal. Like Steve Trevor could have been her dad, her biological dad. He's mortal. He's going to grow old. He's going to pass away one day. So he took care of his daughter. He grew old. He died natural causes. Diana's still alive because she's immortal, and then she just takes on raising her daughter and training her. They could have did something like that.
Yeah, Samurai Raccoon saying, I need to tell y'all how I'd retcon X-Men sometime. That would be nice, because the X-Men are another franchise that need either some form of a retcon or a complete restructuring, because Marvel does not know what the hell they're doing with them.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You know what I heard, though? I heard one of the things that Marvel should have kept a secret When Wolverine started, he had no backstory. The only reason they gave Wolverine a backstory is because that X-Men movie was going to give him one, and he never had one. So they hurried up and came out with the origins of Wolverine's story in the comic book, where they was going to keep Wolverine with no backstory whatsoever. His backstory was going to remain a mystery forever until the movie was going to. They was going to do the origins of Wolverine movie. So Marvel hurried and did the origins of Wolverine comic book to beat the movie.
Yeah,
which I think
the comic itself is a good comic. But
it is, but if they would have kept his backstory a mystery, that added to his character. Like you would never know who he was, or who he is. Yeah. You just know him as Wolverine.
Yeah, and Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the best parts about his character, is not knowing who he is or not knowing his past. You just know he's seen things. It's kind of like the same thing with like Han Solo and whatnot. It's like, he's a mysterious character. Mysterious stranger, whatever you want to call them. They're the type of character you don't know their full backstory, and you don't need to know their full backstory. Once you do that, the surprise and the illusion or the intrigue of the character goes with it.
True, that works for a lot of characters. The same thing like Akuma from Street Fighter. They're supposed to have kept his backstory totally whatever question marks. Then later down the line, as Akuma got popular, let's give him a backstory that involves being the little brother or the student of the brother of he's supposed to be like the little brother of Ken and Ryu's masters. Like, they two brothers who trained under the same grandmaster or something like that. I'm like, why don't y'all just keep his backstory mysterious?
Well, I think the reason why they may have done that is because considering he has the same movesets or similar movesets to Ryu and Ken, it had to be assumed that he had some relation with either their master or somebody within the line.
The original story that went around the campfires was he was just a demon that knew how to fight like them, and nobody knew where he came from. And then they went and gave him a backstory, and it humanized him, and then everybody's like, oh, Akuma. Instead of being, oh shit, it's Akuma, everybody went, oh, it's Akuma.
I don't know. I think some people still give the similar response to Akuma of, oh shit, it's Akuma.
No, not after Kazuya Mishima humbled him in Tekken 7. Shoot, that was funny.
Yeah, some characters do well with a backstory. I mean, when it comes to like fighting games and whatnot, if characters become popular, it's inevitable that you're gonna have to give them a backstory at some point.
I want to go back to those good old days. We had good writers that brought out characters that were mere mystery, and sometimes it works. If you keep a mere mystery, and it just, where do they come from? We don't know. They're just here to do whatever they're doing.
Joker's
like some motivation.
Yeah.
Who's a good example?
Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. They should never try to give Joker a backstory.
I mean, they kind of did, but
Well, the thing is that the best way to handle Joker, in my opinion, is to leave his origin story as ambiguous as possible. We don't know if it's true or not, considering he is a compulsive liar. He can give us whatever origin story he wants to that week, and we have to just assume, like, yeah, we're never going to know the whole story. So when Alan Moore tried to give him the origin story and the Killing Joke, at this point, I don't think anybody... The only part of Killing Joke that I think sticks with people is the fact that he shot Barbara. That's it. Aside from that, we need to keep his origin as ambiguous as possible. Could he be a mobster by the name of Jack Napier? Is he a former comedian? We don't know. We don't need to know. The only thing we need to know is that he is crazy and he's going to lie to us about his origin.
I actually wanted to bring something up because
sure.
So I was doing some writing for like this little side project. I don't know if it's going to be like a Phantom or anything, but essentially I wanted to do like an Elseworlds kind of like universe for DC Comics, but it's like the Earth 3 version. Like it's where everything's the opposite.
Where the good guys are bad guys and the bad guys are good guys.
Yeah, Batman's Owlman and all that.
Yeah.
But instead of it being the jokester in Earth 3, it'd be the Red Hood, because it reminded me of the Batman animated series, the Brave and the Bold, if you guys know what that...
I remember
where they had the Joker being the Red Hood.
Yeah.
As a hero. But my kind of backstory is he was a police officer for the GCPD, and when they were doing a drug bust in Ace Chemicals trying to stop Owlman, who's basically like a super crime boss in Gotham.
Yeah.
He's one of 24 SWAT officers who tries to stop him, but 23 get killed, while the 24th gets dropped into the vat of acid, and he doesn't remember who he is. So when you see like the pictures of the 24 officers, you don't know who he is.
Right.
So technically, he has an origin, but it's an origin. He doesn't know who he is, who he was before.
Yeah, I've had. I remember like people were talking about like writing down kind of like their own ideas for stories and whatnot. I think I started one at one point for Batman because, one of the characters that has been shit on the most by DC Comics is, at least in current years, is Tim Drake. And I wanted to make an excuse, so to speak, to make him Batman. And not the crazy, insane Batman that they made him out to be in one of the more recent comic book stories.
Batman Beyond, I think.
Yeah,
I think he became Batman Beyond after Terry McGinnis died.
Well, yeah, there's that story, but I'm talking about during DC Rebirth, they did a story or crossover between the Teen Titans, Superman, and Titans, I think. And they brought a Tim Drake that was from the future that was out to kill John Kent. And he was insane. And he was twisted. And I'm like, that's not the type of Batman I expect if Tim was given the choice to be Batman.
Bendis write that?
No, Bendis did not write that. Someone else did. I didn't agree with it then, and I still don't now, but I wanted to make a story where Tim wasn't going to be the permanent Batman. I just wanted to take Tim as an obvious, let's say, just hypothetically, Batman was out of commission, and so was Nightwing, and he's the only option left. And I wanted to tell a story where it gave him the opportunity to show that he is the world's greatest detective, where he's on par with Batman.
That's like how his origin is, right? Like he deduced who Batman was, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that Bruce has said it multiple times that Tim is his equal when it comes to detective work. There's no one else in the DC universe better than he is.
Yeah, you're right. Script Doctor Batman's spotlight needs to dim down a lot.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. But I think the idea I had was that what was I planning? I have part of it probably written down somewhere, but I don't have the exact information on me. But I think the plan was not to kill Batman, because let's be honest, Batman has been killed enough at this point. We don't need to kill him any further. But to take him out of the picture. And I was thinking, like, what if he went missing? Or somebody kidnapped him? I know, it's a crazy idea, but what if someone kidnaps Bruce Wayne while he's at, like, a gala or an event? And he has no form of escape this time because these people knew who he was.
They've done that before, haven't they, in the comics?
Possibly. But the point I'm trying to make is that at the same time chaos is reigning in Gotham, like, the inmates escape the asylum. Like whoever kidnapped Batman planned all of it out ahead of time. And they knew how to distract everybody. So that it's up to Tim to not, like, Dick Grayson has to be the one to rally the troops and contend with the chaos of all of the inmates being loose. And Tim is the one who has to find Batman. Just like he did when he started the Red Robin comic book. Because Tim was the only one who believed that Batman wasn't dead. Make it be Hush that kidnapped Batman. That's a good idea, actually. I hadn't really thought that far ahead of who was the one responsible, but Hush is a good choice because he knows who Batman is.
Yeah, and that's a villain that you don't see much of these days. I like Hush.
Oh yeah, he's really cool. I think they did him pretty well in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something that I might consider working on as a side project for fun.
Yeah, I got a Batman story too on my channel. Sorry for the little plug there.
No, you're free to plug your channel. Make it. What if Alfred, who kidnapped Batman? That could probably be funny.
They do got a Batman storyline out there. I think it's either Batman Earth 1 or Year 1. I think it's Earth 1 because they had the Earth 1 books. It was like a different retake. And Alfred in the Earth 1 books, he's a badass. He's like a total badass.
Hush was killed off?
Damn, he was? I didn't know that.
Huh.
When was he killed off, Joan? Because I don't remember that.
I don't remember him getting killed off either.
But yeah, like I was, I think I was, it's like my channel does like I would call glorified fan fiction, but actually good fan fiction.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. But yeah, it was basically like it's part of like the series I'm doing for like my version of DC movies, DC MV. I think I talked about it once on a stream you did. But yeah, it's my own take, like how they did with the animated series universe.
It might be something to check out.
Yeah, Gotham Bat.
Definitely.
What's your channel's name so people will know?
Brainstormer Pop Culture.
Ah, okay. So it's the same as the name. Good.
Yep.
All right. I don't really remember, but he was blown to bits. When? I don't remember him dying.
Me neither.
And of course, we could always bring him back from the dead. This is comic books after all. No one stays dead forever.
Clones.
Clones. Or, or he didn't die in the explosion. We'll make up some excuse.
Hey, if he explodes, maybe that's another reason why he has to wear the Band-Aids.
And also another reason why no one would have suspected that he'd be responsible for the kidnapping.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's not the only one involved in the kidnapping. Maybe there's others. Who knows? Maybe we'll bring some other intelligent criminal masterminds involved. Who knows?
I think one of the stupidest things they did do was when they did have in the New 52, they had the crime syndicate in there. They killed off some of the members of the crime syndicate like it was sweet. And I did not like that ending. That Forever Evil book. That could have went down so much better because I was expecting a good old story of the crime syndicate coming in, kicking some ass, taking some names, and the Justice League go for whatever they had to go through to beat them, and that was it. Then when you had Captain Cold like literally freeze Johnny Quick's leg and like destroyed it and then killed him, I'm like, come for real? For real? No, you guys are messing up. This is not the crime syndicate I expected.
Hush is a Terminator.
Yeah, the only time I ever seen the crime syndicate was in that Crisis on Two Earths movie.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good depiction of him. That was a damn good depiction of him.
Yeah,
because that Ultraman, I like that version of Ultraman. He came off like a mob boss.
I liked Owlman a lot. He was very pessimistic.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
I liked him too. But the only problem I had about Superwoman was an analog for like Mary Marvel instead of an analog for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just now realized that.
Yeah, she was more of an analog for Mary Marvel. She should have been more of an analog for Wonder Woman.
Yeah. What if it was the clone that got killed?
Well, I mean, Dr. Doom did that crap all the time where they thought they would beat Doom and it was a Doom bot. So
yeah,
it would be nice if Hush pulled off something like that.
Hush could pull something like that off. We could definitely write something that makes it seem like that.
Or Rachel Gould in the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, that's also an option. We have tools, guys. Maybe Raish is the one who kidnapped Batman to begin with.
And just using Hush as a proxy.
Yep.
Yeah, because
God, kind of like Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could. You see, there's definitely a toolbox that can be used to play up a good story of Batman missing.
It just matters that you know how to use the tools.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And actually have an understanding of the characters that you're using.
Sadly, we don't have a lot of writers in the industry today that know that.
Batman is a character that should be on the TV screen as a live-action detective show. If done right, it can be. Yeah, we have Gotham. That's as good as you're gonna get.
And Batwoman. But
and
that's
Batwoman.
Like, I've heard some conflicting things about that.
We'll have to wait and see. It's the CW. It'll probably end up being the same as Supergirl.
I think it'll be like start off as Arrow where it's good and then it starts implementing too much social justice. I'm hoping.
Well, actually, that's not the only problem that Arrow has right now. The Arrow has is it's just genuinely shit.
I don't know. I think it's okay.
Well, no.
It
was, I like the first few seasons.
Yeah.
The first two were good. Season 3, I can't remember, which is normally not.
Ra's al Ghul was the main villain.
Oh yeah, Ra's was the villain, which wasn't the worst thing, but it was not. It was like, oh hey, we're dipping into the Batman pool of villains. It's like Green Arrow don't have very many bad guys to work with, so we need to, throw some other guys in. I'm like,
I think you should just use like the minor Batman villains, like really minor, like ones like almost forgotten, but not completely forgotten. Like Anarchy, that was a fine one for season 4.
That was a good choice. That was good choice.
Underused him though.
Oh wait, what season was it where they brought in Prometheus?
Season 5. That was a good one.
Season 5 was awesome. That was like the peak. That's like, okay, I wasn't entirely down for the whole Ra's al Ghul stuff and whatnot. It was okay, but I wasn't entirely in love with it. But Prometheus, my God, it's like, okay, this is where I want it to go. This is good. And then the next season proceeded to be a complete and utter disappointment. Because it's like they bring in a new villain, and one, I don't know him at all.
Damien Dark, right?
No, they had Damien Dark in season 3.
No, season 5. Season 4. They had him. He was main villain for season 4.
See, because season 5 was Prometheus, and season 6 is.
They didn't really have one. I think Richard Drago was supposed to be Endgame, but they didn't do much with him.
It was that one. It's that one dude who's like a drug runner or something. He's complete. I mean, he's a good antagonist, kind of. But considering that he's not really like a super villain, or he's not really something like, oh, hey.
I don't think it's like they shouldn't be like I have like this character who's like an analog for Batman, and I have like a villain who's basically a mob boss, but he's like dressed and he's like a super villain crime boss. So I don't think it's like you just gotta have there's got to be more theatrics to a certain type of character.
Yeah. Batman, stop stealing my villains, Ollie.
That Black Mask is a good example for Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sad because it's like the closer we'll get to see Batman on one of these DC TV shows is that poor depiction in Titans.
Yeah. Of course. Like, the thing that people were saying is that that's probably not Batman. It's Trigun messing with.
Yeah, that's what it was from what I've seen. Like I've seen clips and stuff.
So it wasn't really Bruce. Thank God.
No, but I think it was kind of having. I thought it was. It's kind of like showing what happens when he's really pushed over to the edge. Like he's lost everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just. I think that's kind of an accurate depiction, though. Like he just starts really losing it, and what happens when he really does cross the line because he killed the Joker. What I remember.
Yeah.
So, he starts killing everyone. And I think that's what we've always theorized, right? These fans.
Probably.
But then they do all these other stories about Batman that either he kills the Joker, then the Joker has one last laugh that messes with Batman. That's how you got the Batman who laughs. Or like Batman Damned, he kills the Joker, then he's sitting there moping like, my life has no meaning. Like, it's either one or two extremes. Either the Joker's going to get one last laugh, it's going to really, really destroy Batman, or Batman's going to sit there like, damn, like, I don't have anybody to play with anymore.
Yeah. And the thing is like Green Arrow's, that's actually kind of funny. I remember someone made an argument that the Riddler should be a Green Arrow villain instead of being a Batman villain. Because he barely gets any time in Batman comics as it is. And basically, he is a dime store ripoff of the Joker, practically, in a lot of ways. The only difference is that he's just focuses more on riddles.
I think he's a little more intelligent.
Yeah, he's not nearly as bent as the Joker is. He actually has a modicum of higher intelligence. I miss Frank Miller's Batman.
Deadshot should be a Green Arrow villain because that would just make more sense.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
He was in Arrow.
And then they killed him off for the movie Suicide Squad.
Yeah, probably.
No, they did. I remember that episode.
But at least they gave Deadshot a good way out. You know, because they had him with that rivalry with John Diggle.
Yeah.
Because
you know, he's actually supposed to be Jon Stewart. Like in the Elseworlds crossover, he was Jon Stewart on Earth 90.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a Green Lantern then. Not a Green Arrow sidekick.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up with that particular seasons. I'm really not all that interested.
Oh, I just watched the crossover. I haven't watched the seasons much.
Yeah. I completely, because last season when they released what was it? Crisis on Earth X, I think was what the crossover was.
Nazis.
I watched Nazis. I watched that. It was actually pretty fun. It was pretty enjoyable, not terrible. But I hadn't been up to date with Supergirl because I refused to watch it, mainly because it's just I can't tolerate it anymore. I tried watching it, but
there's so many videos on how bad it is.
Yeah.
I watched like the first couple episodes and then I just lost interest. It was not engaging.
Yeah. It wasn't good. There are parts of it that were okay, but there's just, and I think I watched at least the first couple seasons of the current, or first a few episodes of the current season. I'm like, my dear Lord, this is goddamn atrocious. Because it's like, wow, way to hit that heavy message on, you know, illegal aliens and whatnot. Jesus Christ.
Next year for the crossover, it's supposed to be the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Can we do that so that we could reset the entire universe where everybody is connected?
Yeah, probably like they merged Earth 38 and Earth 1 together or something. I don't know.
Yes. I just don't like the fact that Supergirl's on an alternate Earth.
I mean, at first it made sense when it was on the CBS and stuff. Like,
it kind of works for CW, but at the same time, I'm all like, we know that these characters exist in the Arrowverse as it is for Green Arrow. They've already made reference to Batman. I'm assuming that there probably is a Superman, maybe, or if there isn't,
no,
it's like,
there
hey,
isn't.
That's the weird part. They do mention a Batman though, more than once.
There was actually they had a joke about that in the Elseworlds where Oliver gets upset saying he was the first vigilante in their universe. It was kind of funny.
I'd like to see Donald Trump try to keep aliens from landing on Earth.
There's a Space Force, isn't there? Like he made a military for space.
Yeah, Trump Space Force.
Man, they need. I would like to see Batman show up on one of the CW shows. Just like everybody waited for Batman to show up on Smallville, and he never showed up.
Yep.
In comics, they did for the continuation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the comics, but everybody waited for him to show up on the show because they rumored him to actually appear on the show, and he never did.
Probably because of movie rights.
Yeah, which sucks.
Yeah, and that's also the reason why we don't get Batman now or Superman very much in TV.
That was a good Superman on CW.
Yeah,
they do pretty well in TV.
Yeah, I like him. I like the TV version. Yeah, I would say if they decided to do a Superman TV show, I would watch that so long as you don't muck it up with this bunch of bullshit. I'd watch it.
Put it like this: if they're gonna throw in SJW politics, prepare for him to be cucked every episode by Lois.
Not like he isn't already in the comic books.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, as a matter of fact, they probably throw in there, oh yeah, he was together with Lois, and then they broke up for some weird reason, and the whole series is gonna be him fighting crime, and he sees Lois on and off, and are we gonna get back together? Are we not? And it's like they're about to get back together, then all of a sudden she's like, you know, I got something else better than this. That's gonna be the whole entire series.
That was her.
It's an on again, off again.
That was her excuse with Bendis's comic.
Yeah, like I want to be a better reporter. I don't got time to be a mother or wife. I don't have to be a mother or wife anymore.
I think BVS really did cuck Superman, or not cuck him, but like underutilized him.
Who?
BVS.
Oh, Batman. Oh, Batman versus Superman. Yeah.
Like he should have been the one doing the journalism search for the stuff.
Yeah. course, then what would Lois do for the entire movie?
Help him, I think.
Exactly.
Batman wasn't done in Smallville because Nolan put an embargo on him. Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying. There's embargoes in place that prevent characters from having TV shows and movies and whatnot.
Yeah, because they rumored both Batman and Wonder Woman to appear in Smallville, and it never happened. But they did mention Wonder Woman. They talked about her in passing, but she never showed up on the show.
Yeah, they also talked about Gotham in passing. There was one episode where I think it was that one episode with a bunch of prep students that were being murdered off by someone. They were buddies of Lex's or kids that he knew from school or the prep school. And one of them said, "Hey, I need to get back to Gotham," and then immediately is killed off. I think in like a car explosion or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I would love to see, some of the characters they use in the movie on that CW show, like, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, finally bringing Batman with Batwoman. Like, I mean, make it believable. You want to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, you got to make it believable.
Yeah.
I think fan casting wise, I think Carl Urban would be a good like CW Batman.
Hello, Turtle Time. Welcome to the stream, my friend.
They would need a CW version of Captain Marvel too. I would love that.
Yes. Do not test his turtle powers.
The last time I had turtle powers playing Ninja Turtles the arcade game.
Okay, yeah.
The best turtle game out there.
You turned Superman into the biggest whipped dog than Goku and Vegeta.
No, but see that's another funny thing I talked about before. You would the way Lois is acting in the comic book, you would expect Chi-Chi to act that way. Because Goku don't pay her no mind like that. But Lois acting like that is like weird.
Yeah. I would their relationship of Superman and Lois right now is kind of like Bulma and Vegeta.
Right. I wouldn't say that because right now Vegeta still got bigger balls than Clark did.
True. At least he has the balls to sing up on stage.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's like when a relationship between two anime characters is better than yours, you may want to reevaluate. My God.
Exactly.
It was just stupid. Separating the family to begin with was a bad idea.
No, imagine Goku sitting there trying to consult Superman with Lois leaving. Like, there she's just going off the train.
That's right how he would go. Like, is your wife a fighter or something? He's like, no, she's a reporter. Oh, maybe she went to go train to be a better reporter.
Yeah, she's off the training. I can see Superman do that slow turn to stare at Goku. Like, shut up before I break your neck.
Oh,
that would be hilarious.
There's somebody I've never seen before. Sony-chan. Hello. Do I say, oh, I don't know. You can say whatever you want, just so long as it's within YouTube's terms of service. That was a bad idea. Yeah. Bring on the Zach meme.
I'm back.
It's your boy Zach. No, not really.
That was a bad idea.
Yep, that's what Samurai Raccoon is asking for. We need to bring that meme back.
I think there's still hair memes going on.
Okay, whatever I want. Now what? You can say whatever you want and then literally say whatever you want.
Hey, is anyone the whole changing the name thing think about comics? Now it's what is it again?
I don't know. I'm not keeping up with it.
I don't either. I just
people were saying, like, is DNC having a midlife crisis? Do we need to stage an intervention? I don't know.
No, the next name is going to be the artist formerly known as DNC.
No, that should be his next. That should be his channel's next name.
Yep.
The YouTuber formerly known as DNC.
Yep.
If they just put like a Prince logo on for your avatar. Yep. I'm giving him comedy gold here, people. Tell him about this and tell him who sent you.
Meanwhile, America would do wonders if they learned from the manga verse. If they looked at some of these Japanese artists and writers, they would do wonders.
Yep.
What do you mean, okay? Just okay? Like, I mean, stuff like My Hero Academia is killing it.
Yep.
Like, you know, I think DC and Marvel need to start writing down some ideas.
They need to take notes from the manga industry.
They
I've been saying that for a while. Yeah, but they need to take better notes.
Lot of Anime Gate, I think that article, Wolf.
Oh, you mean the article that I read a while back?
I thought Anime News Network thing.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the rise of the Shield Hero because apparently Anime News Network got triggered.
Yeah, it's like making fun of Me Too, right?
Yeah, something like that. Hold on a second. I'm gonna screen share this one because I can.
Why would they make fun of the Me Too movement?
Oh, we'll get to that. I'm sure they've made fun of something. But yeah, we're here on the Anime News Network because they've been giving their feelings over a new show by the name of The Rise of the Shield Hero, which has had a light novel which started as a light novel and started as a new manga series, and now it's an anime. I guess they got this little, what is it? I guess I should inform people who don't know. Let's see. It says Naofumi, and I can't even pronounce that last name, is just your average otaku college student happily living at home ever since he helped get his brother back on the straight and narrow when he's out of cash. He enjoys going to the library and checking out light novels, which is exactly what the frick? Are you not even editing? He's doing when a book called The Four Cardinal Heroes emits a bright light and summons him to another world. Nafumi finds himself in a book's world along with 3 other guys, and they soon find out they're been summoned to save the world from destructive events known as waves. But something is definitely amiss. While the other 3 heroes not only have basic knowledge of their new game-like world for games they played, Naofumi is totally in the dark, and the kingdom also doesn't seem too happy to have him as the shield hero. When a woman named Mian frames him for assault, Nafumi finds himself thrown out of the castle and forced to make it on his own in this strange new world. With his reputation and faith in humanity tattered, what will happen to him now? Yeah, and this is an isekai-based story for those who are unaware. But basically, the main premise of the story is to show that this world sucks, kind of. It's very similar to like what they did with Goblin Slayer, where things look okay on one end, but it's actually not okay on another.
Realism fantasy, right?
Yeah, adding a bit more interest to the story. And I haven't had a chance to watch the anime itself or read the manga or anything of that nature. So I'm basing this purely off secondhand knowledge. So people are free to correct me in the comments. But from what I could ascertain, the main character, Nafumi, basically becomes jaded after the princess and the world basically screw him over. So he doesn't trust people. He doesn't like people. And I mean, he's already an otaku already. Which means he's probably relatively, maybe doesn't have very good social skills already. And that just, obviously the world itself is out to get him or out to treat him like shit. Which is a little different than how most isekai stories normally go nowadays. Most of the time it's like, you're the hero of the world. We love you. Come and be part of our party and have all the bitches. But this is not the case for him. He doesn't get that. But the main crux of the interest that we're going to have is the people who've reviewed it. Because that's going to be interesting. I've seen some people already discuss this, but we've got somebody by the name of James Beckett. And these people, from what I know of, are part of the writing staff for Anime News Network. Rating 1.5. Let's see. Essentially, yes.
I gotta go run and do something, but I appreciate being on, my brother. You have yourself a blessed one.
Yeah, sure.
You're
nice meeting you, friend. Take care.
Yeah. Have a good one, John. I'll check chat, but it seems as though it has been overrun by turtle time. Thanks for that. Thanks, Turtle Time, for overrunning my chat. I appreciate it.
Main character and I have a lot in common, but except for I am not an otaku, or whatever he is.
Well, basically, a nerd. Because that's kind of how I normally refer to as an otaku. It's kind of just a nerd.
I'm very proud of myself as a nerd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, otakus, I think, is basically more or less like you spend a lot of time focusing on nerd-related stuff and you don't go outside very much.
Oh, crap, I might be a otaku.
You might be.
I'm an antisocial guy, whatever.
Yeah, it could be that. If you're a bit antisocial, bit weird. But let's see.
Also, I generally dislike people, so.
Oh. Yeah, that can be an unfortunate side effect. Let's see.
It ain't my problem, it's theirs.
They need to deal with it.
Yeah.
But let's see. Konami Citrus essentially earned my undying loyalty after producing Made in Abyss. But even I was wary when it was announced that The Rise of the Shield Hero would be their next major project, given the controversial reputation of the source material. Look at this. Already. Controversial reputation of its...
Just telling the story's already controversial?
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to explain why it's controversial. No one ever complained about the controversial nature of this probably beforehand. But let's continue, because I'm sure he has a well of information for us. It's also no secret that I have become extremely wary of the market's current isekai oversaturation. That's been around for probably about 7 years, ever since 5 or 6 years. I don't know.
I think also before that in the West too, like we told stories of Stranger in the Strange Land.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're talking about the oversaturation created by Sword Art Online, then yeah, it's been oversaturated for a while. This isn't anything new, especially when it comes to fantasy worlds that are a little more than generic fantasy MMOs. Yeah,
that's everyone, right? Like almost every,
That's what every separate, Stranger in a New World story is.
Yep.
Complete with an encyclopedia, barely custom rules, and mechanics that almost always result in a less creative story overall. So my expectation for Shield Heroes primarily weren't exactly high. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be watching it. It is a premiere, so you don't know
Shield Heroes premiere. I'm kind of a grammar Nazi.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. If you want to be the grammar Nazi, please feel free.
Well, if I'm reading this article, then probably, I'm going to notice some things.
Yeah, there are weird sentences sometimes. Some of these people that can't edit articles properly, or they don't have a decent editor. Everyone probably knows about the incenting incident that got people talking about Shield Heroes this season already. So let's get the elephant in the room out of the way up front. Okay. Making Nafumi's fall from grace the result of his partner Manya falsely accusing him of rape isn't just ethically dubious, it's needlessly off-putting. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
I bet you if this was released like, I don't know, 12 years ago, no one really would make... Yeah.
The thing is that already this world doesn't like him. Okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
And him being accused of rape falsely. Yeah. It's like, are you saying that women are incapable of making a false rape claim? This is the reason why men in the real world are leery of women a lot of the time now. There's probably many college students out there that are afraid to even talk to a girl at this point. without her making some sort of claim against them.
I also think it's because most girls today are kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's that too. They could also be crazy, like this princess is in this story. It's also lazy storytelling. No, it isn't. That's not really lazy storytelling.
I think it's how it's handled would make it lazy storytelling.
Yeah. And I don't think the way it is handled is lazy storytelling. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I watched Appa Ben's video on it. I think he really covered good points on it. I think he was saying I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It's been a while since I saw it, but essentially he was saying like the lady in the anime was saying was like using. She stole stuff from him and basically just accused him of things when she in fact was the one who used him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically it's constructing a world where you can't trust anybody.
Yeah, I think that's another point that was said, both in anime and the video I watched, is that everyone seems like they'll stab you in the back instantly.
Yeah. I mean, what is the best way to contend with a isekai-based story that's been played to death, where the main character is the hero and everybody loves the hero? Like, we have characters like, Kirito from Sword Art Online, and there are others too, where the characters are normally praised and loved, and everybody's like, oh, wow, they're so amazing. How many of those stories do we get where the character is genuinely despised and hated?
SAO Abridged. That's one. It's a good series.
Yeah, I know. SAO Abridged is freaking great.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kirito is a dick. And it's the perfect way to work with his character because he's overpowered as hell. How do you make people love a character that's overpowered and is just pretty much
try not to be an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. But from the beginning, we see that Nofumi has a reductive worldview of women overall. No. From the beginning, from what is ascertained, even from the top of this where it gave the bio of the show overall, no. The world overall doesn't like him. They don't like the shield hero. They don't like him. People are already judging him.
Yeah, main character was trusting and then he got betrayed. That's why he doesn't trust people.
Yeah, and that's normally what will happen to a character that is betrayed. It's like, I'm a trusting person. Oh no, somebody screwed me over. Now I don't trust people anymore.
What's the greatest anime betrayal you can think of that really affected the character and trusting people?
Oh man. I'm trying to think.
I don't watch a lot of anime, so you're going to have to do this one.
Darn it.
Sorry.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of one where a character was betrayed. Damn. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Chad, if you know anything, let us know.
Does chat know any anime betrayals? Everyone hates Naruto. At least that's how it was started.
I want to say Sasuke from Naruto.
Yeah, Sasuke betrayed the village.
Yeah.
From what I remember. I'm not a big Naruto fan, so it's hard to say.
Not a big one either. I just remember that.
Well, I mean, I remember betrayals in other forms of storytelling. There's several games that I can sort of remember where there was a betrayal. Like the betrayal of characters that happened to characters in Final Fantasy XII. I can't remember the knight's name, but he's betrayed by his twin brother, who turns out to be a traitor and killed the king, but framed it on his brother. And, and then his brother, the good brother, gets imprisoned. The loyal knight gets imprisoned. I mean, if we want to talk about being betrayed and not being able to trust people in a story, my favorite Final Fantasy-based game of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics, had that in goddamn spades. There was so much backstabbing in that world, I lost count.
Wow.
But I mean, you got betrayed by members who were in your party even very early on. They killed family, they killed friends of yours and whatnot very early in the story. Or your best friend in that story becomes a very jaded and somewhat hateful person that's out to take over the kingdom in a sense, or at least, get a measure of revenge because his younger sister gets killed off by someone who was on your side.
Jonah Arts, PewDiePie, and Disney. That's a good one.
PewDiePie and Disney. Worst
Was he
anime
betrayed, or did they just?
No, they just cut ties. They cut ties with him. It's not that he was betrayed. They bowed to outrage and took him off.
Yeah, I see a couple of his videos. He's actually a good guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Go back to the article. Judging literally every woman he sees down to bare bones sketches of the princess in a book based on his perceptions of their sexuality and attainability. I don't think that's what the character did, but
no, I think he just viewed everyone as someone who could betray him, so he's not trusting because of what happened.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like you. And the thing is that from what I understand of the princess Mayan, she is teasing him. She is flirting with him. He has no. I'm assuming that because he's an otaku, his social skills are probably not the best. So a woman probably just basically talking in his general direction would probably be more attention than he gets normally.
Well, that's most guys.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like the world is a matriarchy. It's run by a queen, and the princess is a bitch, obviously. And it's kind of shown that she's not a good person. If she's willing to betray him and take all the stuff and then accuse him of rape, and she gets away with it and he has to suffer with the consequences. Yeah, I'd become a jaded individual too.
Yeah, I like the parentheses phrase they have there.
Despite the rules being, a king. It's like, but from what I understand, this world is ruled by the queen. The king is just the side guy, I guess. He's not really.
It could be like a kind of regent thing, like before the princess might, until the princess becomes of age to be a queen.
Yeah,
he's ruling.
Yeah.
No.
To reveal that Mayan's betrayal creates a link between these two elements that's impossible to ignore. Idiotic. The implication, intended or not, is that in a world that venerates women, deceptive snakes like Mayan will say whatever they want, and poor nice guys like Nafumi will suffer. That's exactly the point.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is implied.
It's implied that, she's...
Well, people will... if people can extort you or use you, they will in this world.
Yeah, no. Exactly. That's the point. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be others that could potentially betray him or use him.
Yeah.
This probably won't be the only time. And who knows if anyone else is suffering from the same things. Like people complained and lost their shit over, like Goblin Slayer and its depiction of a dark world and whatnot. It's like, funny thing is like immediately after episode 1, yeah, that kind of dark world kind of fades away into the backdrop from what I watched. But also at the same time, the creator's trying to tell a different type of story. Everyone complains about how everything is generic and basic. You people are complaining about it all the goddamn time. And then when even this person, complaining about it and saying like the isekai genre is oversaturated enough as it is, someone comes in with a different idea and a different story and tries something different. Oh no, now it's evil because they tried something new.
It's like, you want something different, but you just want things to stay the same.
They don't want change. That's the thing.
Yeah. They say they do, but they do not. It's a double entendre.
Well, oh yeah, Samurai Raccoon pointing out, does Cypher from Final Fantasy XVIII count? Yes, that is a betrayal. Hey, look at chat. No, I don't want to look at chat, Turtle. You can't make me. although I just did to read your comment. Every trick in the book is employed to frame Mayan as an exaggeration of the duplicitous, promiscuous harpy that uses her beauty to lure men to their doom.
And a lot of women do that.
And Nephomi is an innocent everyman who's punished for being too trusting, thus justifying the hatred and misanthropy that follows him.
If it was a male character who like befriended him and then took all of his stuff, it'd be the same situation.
Yeah.
He'd still end up not trusting people.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. There is stories in all of fiction throughout history that show women betraying men and are duplicitous. Does that mean every woman is the villain of the story? No. But this is a thing that happens. I mean, there's like the creatures that are told in mythologies and history, like
sirens, succubi,
sirens, succubus, vampires.
Yep.
Take your pick. There are creatures that are like where some of them are female in nature and are designed to play with men's emotions. That's because women can play with men's emotions. It's a very common thing that can happen because men are driven by some very basic instinctual things that they need.
Biology, dude. Can't change it.
Yeah, it's a natural thing. And women who are aware of their beauty and whatnot will use men, not just in literature and in fiction, but in real life too. This is and men can do the same thing. Men can do the same thing to women.
Yeah.
Where they take advantage of them. Like if there's a guy that's like, let's say he's the most handsomest man in town, he can take advantage of every single woman in the town. Basically.
Yes, Turtle Time. I'm sorry if I did say it, but Night Wolf was able to catch it. He thought I said sucky butt.
King Solomon can attest to this. Yes. Stories of King Solomon. Does like the biblical story of Samson mean anything to anybody anymore?
I don't know anything. I know King Solomon, but just by name.
Yeah. The story of Samson is he was the strongest man of Israel, and he was visiting with a woman who was told to betray him. She was conned into it basically with money or some form of fame, or I can't really remember the exact details. I'm a bit rusty on it, but she betrays him because she needs to find out from his enemies, like, where does his strength reside? Where does it come from? And he tells his secret to her, that it's in his hair. His hair is what gives him his power. And when he gets him to fall asleep next to her, or some form or another, she cuts his hair. And then his enemies come in, take him, and he has no power. And not until much later, till he gets payback later. And he regains his strength and whatnot. But, yeah, history is riddled with women who have betrayed men. This is a very common thing because women are capable of doing it. And men are capable of doing the same. Yes?
Do not look at chat because there is some Turtle Time wrote about you.
What is he doing? Read my rabbit's rant. No!
No, I'm talking about the one before Samurai Raccoon.
Oh, Samurai? Delilah was sent to Samson to discover his weak point, which turned out to be
no, the one above it.
What? Turtle Time's boycott night because he doesn't read chat?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Turtle Time is like that. He's joking. He's not serious. At least not that I'm aware of. Turtle Time, for people who don't know who Turtle Time is basically
a big old
my troll. Yeah, he's my troll. He trolls chat all the time. I don't take anything he says too seriously. He's just messing around. He's trying to get attention.
Oh, no, I got that. I just wanted to be in part of the joke.
Oh, you wanted to join in the yucks? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, let's see.
It's not just a cliche.
Yeah, it's a fantasy of persecution that frequently promulgates by men in order to justify mistreatment and mistrust of women. Maybe it's your problem, writer. Maybe you don't trust men or women.
Well,
Maybe
the thing is, though, he said it's cliche. Everything you read in a story is a cliche at this point.
Yeah, has anybody been able to tell a new story that doesn't have some form of cliches in it?
Yeah,
tropes in it?
This kind of reminds me of a thing I've said to many people, is that we're kind of in this time and age where nothing's really original. Only thing we can do is tell our style of a story.
Yeah. Because, I mean, people have been telling stories for too long, for so many eons.
We don't even remember.
Yeah. And a lot of those stories are just retellings of other stories that they heard over the years.
Yep.
I mean, when you hear the story of Hercules and whatnot, you take inspiration from that and you create other characters like Beowulf or any number of other characters. Perseus, Superman, Spider-Man.
I think Superman's more Moses.
Or Jesus, depending on who you ask.
I know he's in the original. I think he's more Moses, like he was sent from his home to another. Like if you read the story of Moses, obviously it's very warm.
Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that we've been doing this. We've been writing fiction and stories for so long. Nothing is truly original. All you can really do is tell your own spin on it and try and make it as entertaining and enjoyable as possible.
Yeah, so what he says here is not really, I mean, it's kind of true, but it's also like everything is cliche at this point. Like
it's a moot point. It's a point, but it's a moot point. I can complain about cliches all you want, but it depends on how you handle the cliche. Right?
Yeah. I think I found another editing mistake.
Oh, did you?
You might want to move your cursor, though.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, never mind. I thought it was a lowercase I.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It would be foolish to say that no person has ever falsely accused another of assault. You see, and then you defeat your own argument.
Yeah.
You defeat your own bloody argument in the next sentence.
It's
then it's like,
what's the word? Like can't think of the word. Damn. It's like where he says a point, but then he just immediately refutes it.
Yeah, he refutes his own point.
Yeah.
In other words, he can't make a decent argument for why this is bad.
Isn't that what most ideologues do?
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. It's like people are falsely accused of false allegations. Okay. And accusations of things like rape and assault are normally the worst type of accusations you can levy against somebody.
Murder.
So, huh?
Murder's up there.
Murder. Yeah. That's another pretty bad one. And that's the thing.
Well, getting accused of anything is bad.
Yeah, being accused of any type of crime is bad.
Yeah, it kind of stains your name.
Yeah, it stains your name. Imagine being accused of the worst possible crimes known to mankind. Or maybe that's not even a bad one. Maybe it's just a subpar crime, but you're accused of theft. You're accused as a thief, but you've never stolen anything.
Yeah, after that, no one's going to trust you. So
yeah, especially if people blow it up out of proportions and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
which I think is what they did in the anime, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like she claims a false rape charge, basically, and because she's the sweet innocent princess that everybody loves, they believe her over the new guy who's doesn't really have a name in this town yet, and people
that makes sense, obviously, because you're going to trust someone you know over someone you just met.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has a basis in reality, but it's still arguing against falsely, like just immediately believing someone who accuses of something of a really big crime. The whole innocent until proven guilty.
I mean, people wonder a lot of the time, like, I always think of like people make accusations and whatnot, but people wonder why some rape victims don't come forward or why assault victims don't come forward or anything of that nature. It's like because they're not sure if they can be trusted or believed in when people make false allegations. Because the false allegations make things worse and harder to prove.
And I think that's harder today now than
yeah, and it's worse now because people can make an accusation just online and they don't even need evidence, and that could destroy your life and your career.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the society is more often does not take allegation. Oh wait, no, I read that.
Good night, Jonah Arts.
Good night, Jonah. We'll see you later. The situation is so bad that the majority of victims choose not to report sexual violence. Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't because of false allegations, which is what this story is about. The character is falsely accused of a crime that he did not commit. And the person who is the vindictive evil harpy is the one who's responsible for it. So she wants you to believe her. She's not a good person. We're not supposed to like her. That's the point.
Oh, yeah, Jonah just Jonah just posted something. Imagine that, but if you're in the LGBTQ, LGBT community.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard any type of allegations like that.
Yeah.
Before. That's interesting.
But let's see.
Right.
Let's see.
This is why.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is why Rising of the Shield Hero treatment of the subject matter deserves to be discussed. Well, I mean, it deserves to be discussed, but
it's not like treated as a controversial thing.
It's not a controversy. This is not. Yeah. This is non-controversy. You're trying to make it a controversy when it's not. It's
Trademark.
Not a controversy. Yeah.
Non-controversy. Trademark. Your
hashtag,
back.
Hashtag non-controversy.
Hey, is that an actual hashtag?
I wish it was. If it is,
I'm gonna check. I'm curious.
I'm curious too. Is it a hashtag? It should be.
I will check Twitter right now, even though Twitter is technically cancer.
I'll keep reading while you're checking. Yep. The idea that men are aggrieved victims of some matriarchal conspiracy is not only an imaginary boogeyman, it's something that has caused real harm in the world outside this work of fiction. You're an idiot. Men can be the victim of horrible crimes, even crimes committed by women. I mean, let's think about it this way. How many men at large win cases against women when it comes to divorce or the right to have rights over the child? How many?
Most goes to women.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you're a man and you're married or you're in a relationship with a woman, you have a kid, or the relationship just goes south and it doesn't end up well, the person who's normally going to win 9 times out of 10 is the woman. It doesn't matter because they're going to believe the grieving woman far more so than the evil man. Yeah, and that's not to say that there aren't men that are truly evil and deserve to not,
almost definitely, but there's evil on both sides.
Yeah.
Always.
Or it's the fact that it's blown out of proportion and both sides are completely normal.
Yeah.
They just side with the woman more often than they do the man.
Yeah, that's what you call sexism.
Yes, it is sexism. Because it's like the woman has to be believed over the man.
So I looked up. There's no hashtag, but apparently some people have it as their @ names. Well, there's also a Twitter profile called Nontroversy.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. The other reason I felt the need to take so much time addressing Rising of the Shield Hero's central controversy is because the rest of the show is so unforgivably boring. Okay, I can't say anything to that. Nafumi is completely uninteresting protagonist 70% of the time, and a complete tool for the other 30%. He is
well, the first episode hasn't been out yet. This is like talking from a preview episode, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. You know, you didn't even need to write this review. If you weren't going to be interested, then why'd you read it? And why'd you watch it?
Because of it talking how women can be bad.
Yep. Likeable member of the cast so far because everyone else is either a paper thin nobody or an unrepresented asshole or unrepentant asshole.
Again, first episode. Not everyone's gonna be well defined yet.
Normally, the best way to, and the funny thing is most of these people haven't read the source material, which is already ahead of the anime.
Huh. Hashtag give Jonah a wrench.
Hashtag give Jonah a wrench.
Yeah, that's a moderator, right?
Yep. He wants to be moderator. I don't know if I can do that. Can I do that? Participants, manage moderators. I'm gonna check this actually.
You might want to take off screen share.
Oh, right. I'm pretty sure I'm not sharing too much information yet. There. Now there's no screen share. Paste new moderator channel URL. Okay, hold on.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Hold on. I'm working on things here. I am going to make Jonah moderator if I can.
I'm just trying to entertain the audience before they get bored and leave.
Please don't leave. Please stay. Please stay with us.
I don't know how to do a hacker voice, Jonah.
Copy URL. Yes. Is there anything else I need to do? There are no approved users. Blocked words. I don't care. Blocked links. I don't care. Okay, let's save. All changes are saved. Let's see what happened. Joan, are you now a moderator? Are you? Hello? Type something in chat, damn it. If you can. According to this, it says all changes have been saved. So I'm assuming that you're a moderator now.
I don't see anything either.
Well, has he typed anything?
Nope.
Well, he needs to type something in order for me to know if he's a moderator or not. Hey, you can make people mods. Yes, I can. Make me a mod. No, Turtle, I'm not making you a mod.
Oh, I say please.
I don't care if he says please. I'm not giving it to the troll.
That's probably a good idea.
It worked. He's a mod. He has a wrench, so he's a mod. Congratulations, Joan. You're my first mod.
It would mean the world and some more to me. Says Turtle Time.
Switch to live chat. I already did. Been trying the tablet I got. It's good so far, but the button don't work for shortcuts because of my paint program. Oh, I'm sorry. Pretty please? No.
Gundam pilots on top?
It's not good enough.
How about a Gundam?
A Gundam?
Yeah, with the pilots.
Yeah, a Gundam pilot is a Gundam pilot. A Gundam is a giant robot. What script doctor? What is it? Typing I doesn't tell me anything in chat. It really doesn't. Come on, please. Turtle Time's gonna bug me to be mod for a while. I trust you. I
feel like the next couple of streams you're gonna have. Yeah, probably.
He's going to be begging. I'd do anything. But the question is, Turtle Time, will you behave yourself as mod? See, okay, basically, I'll make the rules for moderation right here, right now. Basically, I want it to be people who I actually know and who I'm in regular communication with, okay? Not just somebody who's here on chat live streams, okay? It's not that I don't like you, Turtle. I do. But I'm not going to give mod to just anybody. I want to give it to people who I know and who I can trust to actually moderate my chat. So if there's some people who are causing trouble or something, I can trust them to handle the situation. Does that make sense? Is that fair? I think that's fair.
Sounds very authoritarian to me.
You're being selfish, Nightwolf. Thanks, Maranya, for the vote of confidence. I was good. I know you're winky facing me. I was going to make you mod too, but if you're going to behave like that, maybe I won't.
Gives mod, I would mod. Definitely.
Sorry. Nope. I'm sorry, Turtle. I'm going to leave it. I want to try and keep it as contained as I possibly can with people who I know and trust. I said shellfish. Thanks, Maranya. Hashtag make Maranya a mod. Well, of course, she's the matriarch. Why wouldn't I? Actually, I'm going to do that right now because I'm testing out mods right now. I have finished Fate Apocrypha. William Shakespeare is my favorite. Well, Script Doctor, you're not wrong. He's one of my favorite characters in that show too.
I have not watched that series at all.
I wouldn't recommend watching the Fate series unless you really want to get confused and lost, probably.
So, like with most TV shows today.
Well, it's
like Lost. Like is it like Lost?
It's not like Lost. I would make it more akin to Kingdom Hearts.
I played like the first game, and then I never really played it after. I just there's like a whole
yeah.
I never like got the story myself, actually.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people did.
It does have quite the convoluted story and plot and stuff. At least in certain parts, you could probably watch it and be fine. But
maybe they should do like a series, like a TV series or something. Like it could be like an interpretation. Because I liked it. I liked me playing with Goofy and Donald.
Yeah. What the heck? Turtle pestering the live stream host is not a good way to become a mod. Just saying. Yep. Now I can put a wrench in the works. Yes, you can now. Congratulations, Baranya.
Rags us. I can't say that. I don't know how to say that.
Say what?
The Turtle just put something else in the chat. I can't. I want to say it, but I can't. Like, I don't know how syllables will work.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I can't really see it. I would recommend Black Butler for those new to anime. I think he's trolling. Look, I'd do anything. Don't ever say that, Turtle Time, because people might ask you for weird things to do. You should not do that. I would even stop talking.
I think Weapon would take him up on that offer.
Yeah. You want to go try and beg to be a mod? Go beg him. Go beg Weaponized Nerd Rage and see what he'll do. See what you can get off, because he'll hold you to it probably.
Yeah, he's our own Comicsgate Florida man.
Yes, he is the Florida man. He's my favorite Florida man.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so yeah, Turtle Time, you can keep begging, but I told you it's not happening. Okay? Just be happy being the troll. How about this? You can put a wrench next to yourself on a regular basis and pretend to be the mod. How about that? Look, what do you want me to do? To just be your wonderful self.
Again, ask Weapon. I'll let you be a mod.
Rule number 99 of the internet. Never say you do anything to get something. Turtle, would you listen to Weaponized Nerd Rage's Built Sander story in full? No mutes and no begging to stop.
Dude, I listened to that story like 3 times on his streams.
I don't even know if I remember that story, and I don't think I want to know.
I remember it all too well, and I don't want to tell you, but I also kind of want to tell you just to get a response out of you.
No, don't, because if it's highly inappropriate, I don't want it here.
Gotcha.
I've had Weapon on stream before, and it's gotten stuff out of hand, and I'm like, okay, this is not I want on the channel. No offense.
I've watched all his streams. It always gets weird.
Yeah, and sometimes it's fun, but sometimes it gets a little bit too weird for my taste. But I love the dude, so.
Rule 100. From Florida, so what do you expect?
Rule 100, Turtle defies the rules. Well, you could keep trying to defy the rules, but so long as I'm controlling this channel, you don't have any. You follow my rules and my lead, don't you? You have no control over here, except me. I get to choose who gets to stay. Okay, that's it. We're gonna ban Turtle from chat. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, guys. I don't want my first interaction with mods to be that we ban someone from chat. Don't want to do that. I've heard the story 3 times and I don't want to think about it. It makes my tummy flip-flop. As long as you control the channel. Turtle. Control. Don't even think about it. If you hack this account, I will find you and I will end your existence. This is my channel. And I don't want people to take it from me, okay? I don't want to have to make another one and start over. It's already bad enough.
So should we start back to the article?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the article for a little bit. Now, where was I? Unlikable characters, which, that is highly subjective. The fantasy world itself has no unique qualities of its own. For all I know, it may as well be the same setting as Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody.
I don't know that one.
I do. I read the first volume of the manga, and I watched part of the show. It is one of the most generic isekai type stories I've ever read. And it's very boring.
If it ever brings up, if the article keeps bringing up more animes I don't know, I'll let you know. Just so give me a.
Yeah, it's fine, and I'll let you know if I know them. But that's the thing. It's like this article complains about prototypical
Stranger in a Strange Land stories.
Yeah, and Death March to a Parallel World is that. This story is not the same. The only thing that it has in common with it is the fantasy world setting.
That's every story in Japanese they do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I always found weird. Why that never did like sci-fi or an alien thing. But it's just me.
Yeah, when it comes to isekai based stories, it is a little weird that they focus so much on like
Middle Earth stuff, right?
Well, yeah, fantasy, or they're doing the whole
D&D.
Yeah, D&D or video game logic, because a lot of the isekais are basically a video game. Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody is literally a video game, or he's like from what I remember the story, he's an over 30-year-old game programmer. He falls asleep, and next thing you know, he wakes up in a parallel world where he's younger, and he ends up becoming the most overpowered character ever. Oh, does that not sound familiar?
Does Overlord count too?
Overlord is an isekai story, but it's a good one. And at least they give you a decent excuse for the fact that he's overpowered. He's overpowered because he's played the game for so long. And also, it makes sense. Like when he beats everybody, it's like, well, it's because he's already max leveled.
Hey, could you give me 1 sec? I do something.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll check chat. Make your own channel, Turtle. Cleveland Brown versus Turtle Time versus Fat Panther. Who would win? Fat Panther. Cleveland and Fat Panther. They tag team. So I have good news and bad news. Which first? Well, I don't know, Turtle Time. What's the give me the bad news so that the good news sounds better. Go ahead, man. Hit me with it. I'm ready for the bad news. So I hope everybody is fine. Well, it's unfortunate that some of my other friends are not here so that I can make them mods too, since I'm doing this right now. Some other people who I would like to make mods. Where's Rabbit Sensei when I need him? Bad news makes no sense without the good news. Oh, okay, fine. If you want to give me the good news first and then the bad, or what, however you want to present it, present it. Save me the trouble. Okay? What's happening on Twitter? Is there anything going on? Oh, Mr. E is messaging me.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Sorry, I decided to check Twitter for a little brief second.
People say it's cancer, but I haven't run into much of it.
Well, it depends on what circles you fall into, I guess.
Mostly,
the good news is that
mostly you and like everyone else in comics game and stuff. That's pretty much it.
The good news is that a new Godzilla game for mobile is coming, and it's going to be 3D.
Hey, what do you think of the Godzilla King of Monsters thing coming out?
The trailer? I'm excited about it. I want to see it. I've already seen the first two, Universal Pictures based monster.
I haven't.
Kaiju. I've watched the new Godzilla movie, and I also watched Kong, or what was it? King Kong? Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
I watched both those.
Yeah, and the guy who made that, the guy who made Kong is making that Metal Gear movie, right?
I'm not sure. The bad news is I'm also working on it. Well, bad news for you. Well, shit. So there's a new Godzilla game. What? Are you going to ban me from playing it? Fine. It's a mobile game. I play enough mobile games as it is. Unless it's going to be a Gundam-based mobile game that is going to be global, I don't care. Well, I mean, I would probably check out a Godzilla mobile game, but it'll probably be Japanese only anyway. So
I haven't seen the movies myself, so I don't know. I didn't really care. I'm not a big kaiju fan. I mean, like I like Pacific Rim, but that's because it's giant robots versus big monsters. So
you would help with a new profile pic for a price, Joan? Well, I appreciate the offer. Maybe we'll work on that. I'm kind of working on my digital art and stuff right now as it is. I need to come up with a new design. And probably what I'll do is I'll design something new, and then I'll probably find a way to scan it, and then I'll put it into my computer and work on it.
I tried drawing my own logo, which was going to be what you see in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Which is a photoshopped Batman who laughs with glasses on him.
Yeah. I guess we should go back to the
article, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the. Let's see. The only true conflict is this double-length premiere, which is constantly hammered home through the episode's awful, monotonous dialogue. It's an isekai. They love to explain shit. Is that Nafumi feels like a loser for being stuck as the shield guy. I think that's the point. The point is he sucks. Or that people don't like him. And he's the shield hero. Nobody wants to be with him. Nobody wants to be around him, basically.
Yeah, probably both.
From what it sounds like, he's the type of character in like a role-playing game that you normally would put at the back of the party and never use. Basically.
And if if it's following some type of typical story route where he's going to basically be ending up becoming the hero by going through so much trials, like kind of like an everyman story, but like a hero's journey as well.
Well, yeah, it would be similar to things like what Spider-Man does or others.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's supposed to be the loser. In a sense, he's gonna have to rise above being that loser, and
typical story, which is fine. Just depends on how it's handled.
Yep. And since I haven't seen the show or read the manga or anything, I don't know.
But you said double-length premiere?
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes long.
Wow.
It's like what they did with the first it's like an episode 0, I guess, kind of thing, or
Uh,
an overlength first episode.
OVA kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
Prologue, I think, is better.
Yeah,
uh,
that might be an appropriate way of saying it. It's well, I've seen double length premiere episodes for shows before too, so it's really not anything new to me, and that doesn't really hinder my enjoyment of it. I mean, the first, well, it's not the first Fate based series I watched, but when I watched Fate Zero for the first time, first episode was an hour long. Because it's like, oh, we need to do all this setup and explain all the rules of the world and whatnot, so that then we can get to the good stuff.
I'd say when you're making a world, because I mostly do world building when I write stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, you just gotta have you can have some in-depth rules, but just have a standard set of rules for the world itself, like the environment.
Yeah, and some stories can do just fine with that. I mean, when I watched Fate Zero, I liked how they handled it, or when you watch the first episode of Fate Zero, it is basically explaining all the basics that you need to know. It introduced most of the characters, not everybody, but most of them, at least the main ones that are important. And it explains the world and the rules within said world. And considering it's the Fate series, they need a lot of time to explain how the mechanics of this world works.
See, that's where I find interesting. Because when I've tried writing a series, I try to I usually don't establish the rules themselves within the first, let's say, chapter.
Yeah,
I just try to explain it throughout the whole either series or the first story, obviously.
Because there are different ways to do it. You could just lay out all the rules right off the bat, or you can add them in as time goes on.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of writers try to get it right off the bat so they don't have to explain anything further down the line.
Yeah. I mean, in some cases it works. I think for the Fate series, doing a very long-winded explanation of how this all works for it, because otherwise you would be having weird expositional dialogue throughout the rest of the story. And people would probably be like, why is that there?
You are right, Jonah Arts. Build the world as you go along after basic rules are set up.
Yep.
Something like that.
And to me personally, I don't think that the basic rules for the Fate series is all that complicated. It's just a Holy Grail war. You have servants, you have masters.
How many anime? I think a lot of animes have used the Holy Grail war thing. It's a backdrop.
I'm pretty sure others have used some form of the Holy Grail. The Fate series is the one that just comes to mind that uses the Holy Grail as the backdrop for its conflict.
The Seven Deadly Sins, that anime series, I watched a little bit of it. I think it was there was a Holy Grail war or something like that.
Oh, they might have done it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that would make sense considering the theme of it is the Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
The Fate series, the way that they describe it is that it's a magical vessel that can grant one wish to the master who wins. But the only way that you can win is by killing all the other servants, which are legendary heroes from the past. And they all have to be destroyed so that they feed the Grail energy, so then it can grant the wish. That's just my basic runaround of explaining it. And you need 7 people? 7 servants, 7 masters.
Like I said, man, I'm not really the expert here, so I'm taking your word for it.
I'm just making a general explanation, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see, where is it? It's contrived, silly, and in no way warrant so much runtime. Tell that to Fate Zero, which is also on Crunchyroll. Shields are perfectly capable deadly weapons. Well, yeah. But in this world, the mechanics of the shield are different. He can't hurt anything. From what I understand of it, he can't hurt any monsters.
Yeah, that's the point of a shield, right? It's to be more defensive than offensive.
Yeah. which is why he needs friends or allies to help him fight monsters.
Yeah.
People have been murdering other people with shields since the literal dawn of human civilization. Well, this is fantasy.
Very different rule set to other forms of fiction.
I could make rule sets, you know, if we're going to base it like something like off of an MMO or a D&D, there are classes that don't, you know, actually do physical confrontation fighting.
Clerics, right?
Clerics. Mages.
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of people.
Well, I mean, they're offensive, but they don't use physical combat.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, paladins are also a class that aren't really full-blown fighters either. They're more or less guardians or protectors. Depending on how the world works, you can make the rules however you want. People can make the rules of, oh yeah, this shield person can bash someone's skull in with a shield. It's not a problem. But in this world, clearly that is not the rule. And if it's not the rule, then we just have to respect the creator's decision not to make it a rule. Unless he decides to change, unless the writers decide to change the rules.
Yeah, it's like, you ever heard of the show Into the Badlands?
I've never watched it, but I have seen parts of it.
I've watched it. It's a good show. It's a martial arts show, and basically how the history set up is, you know, after, like, I'm guessing like a nuclear war or something, and everything came back, like the nature and stuff. Essentially, guns were outlawed.
Yeah.
And you had to stick to fighting with swords and stuff like that. Now, practically, like in the real world, that wouldn't be at all possible.
Yeah, people would still use guns even if they're outlawed.
Yeah, so technically, but it's makes for an entertaining show, and if you're able to get past that, which most people are, get past that one rule of that world, makes for an entertaining show.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to like there are rules for, like, when I remember watching Rurouni Kenshin and whatnot, there was the rule that civilians and other people who weren't with the government can't carry a sword. So, and that was actually a thing back in, I believe it was the Meiji era of Japan, I think. But yeah.
Hey, Wolf.
Yeah.
Jonah is asking if she can come on and talk about realism or being realistic in fiction.
Can I? We could probably do that as a stream at some point, John. That would be fun.
I'd be down for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's Imran saying you can murder someone with a shield if the edges are sharp enough. Yes. Or beat them enough with one. Yes.
Just beat them with it. Captain America kills a lot of people.
Or beats the crap out of them and knocks them unconscious with a round shield. This is a
thing. Winter Soldier, he does that. Well, no, he drop kicked the guy, but he still technically killed him. And when when they were on the boat.
Yeah, sure, John. We can probably set up a time to do that. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know when my next stream is planned, but we'll probably do that. Why are you talking about people killing with shields? Because it's fun. That's why. It's an interesting topic. Because this person wants to make it an interesting overly complicated topic.
Not me, Turtle. It's not about me.
I mean, one of the mobile games that I play, one of the characters uses a shield to beat the crap out of people. So
yeah, I think in a lot of fictions, people have used shields for offensive means, not just defensive.
Because you can.
Yeah, any weapon really can be used as defensive or offensive. It just depends on how the wielder uses it.
Yeah. But if a rule dictates that you can't use it as an offensive weapon, then you don't use it as an offensive weapon. Yeah.
Unless you have someone that's willing to break the mold.
Yeah. Or you give the character the ability to break the rule.
Yeah.
Which, that could happen. We don't know.
I think they do that with, would that be like a Mary Sue kind of thing, or just be used in any type of thing?
Well, breaking or changing the rules. Maybe breaking isn't the appropriate rule. Changing the rules. Like, let's say
rule is still there, yet you kind of bend it to suit your needs, right?
Or suit a new part of the story.
Yeah.
Like let's say that this shield hero can't use physical combat.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe he acquires a spell or a special skill that allows him to use the shield as a weapon for a short period of time.
Yeah, a little workaround, right?
Slight workarounds.
Yeah.
Which people do in stories. You know, there are certain rules that are set and then they might change them as the story progresses because they need to for one reason or another.
Because they could have run themselves in a corner with the rule they established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rising of the Shield Hero has only one redeeming quality, and that is its production value. So basically, you're saying the only thing it's good at is being pretty.
Is that that's in the article, right?
Yeah, that's the article.
Huh.
It still knows how to bring this world to life with vivid color, even if the overall direction is mostly lifeless. Perkins' score is wonderful as always. I joked at the beginning of the season that Perkins' music would be the only reason I watched this show. I don't care about any of this now.
Well, yeah, I guess production-wise, maybe. But again, I have not seen the show. Neither of you, Wolf, so we can't really judge what he's saying on it. Also, because things he's seen saying before don't really matter.
Yeah, the one thing that's really funny is that I remember there was one article that pointed out that the character or the writer is male, or they said that the writer was a man.
But it's a lady, right?
Yeah, this story is written by a girl.
Wow.
It's like, you guys didn't even do your research, did you?
Yeah. That's just, that is some...
That's just depressing. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. You guys can do better.
Funny thing is, they're supposed to be journalists.
Yeah.
Journalism has surely fallen from grace.
At the very bare minimum, you should have done your research. Wikipedia is a thing, you know, even if you haven't read the story.
I don't really like to trust Wikipedia.
Well, true.
I mean, like, for certain things, yeah, it does tend to be correct.
Yeah, or they could have just read the source material, but none of them do.
Because I think it'll be just emphasis on what they think the anime is already.
Yeah, they think they know.
Which
it's either that or they did read it and they just don't bother to say that they have. Hello, Underworld Dream. How are you, man? Good to see you.
Salutations.
Salutations and greetings. Yes, I'm a weeb. Well, no, not really.
I'm not a weeb. I barely watch anime.
I like anime and manga. It's where I feel the most at home right now. It sounds like a personal blog. Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. I saw that earlier. I was going to say it, but you were busy reading it. So
yeah, it's more or less people's.
That's what a lot of news articles online seem to be right now, right?
Yeah,
like blogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? I'm fine. I'm doing wonderful. I'm watching people get triggered over an isekai anime. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm having a great time. Because I know there were apparently people were tweeting about this show and whatnot, and obviously they've read ahead. And apparently, the main character does get a girl as a slave, I guess, in some form or another. I don't know the exact details, but they're upset about that. It's like, well, one, it's a fantasy setting. Slavery is a very common thing used in fantasy settings. And most of the time, it's not normally handled too poorly. It could be handled poorly. I don't know. But from what I understood, because I watched Mr. E 2099's video on it, and he said that it's handled really well, and he treats his slave, or because basically, like we mentioned earlier, he can't fight monsters physically. All he is the guard, or the blocker, or the defender. So he needs to have someone who can do physical attacks. So
I think there's like a martial art where you use defensive means as an offense.
Yeah, they could maybe implement that. That'd be interesting. Kind of.
Yeah,
cool.
and like you can use like damn, I can't remember what it was. I think it's Aikido or something like that, where you use the opponent's momentum against them.
Yeah, yeah, that's a thing.
I watch a lot of TV and movies, so I get to pick up on stuff.
Yeah, it's a good thing to pick up on.
Yeah,
but yeah. Apparently, some people were losing their mind because he has a slave that he treats like a normal person, and not like the way that some people think the term slave is used anymore. People seem to misunderstand that the word slave means many different things or has different meanings.
Well, the way I gather the definition of slave is someone who was bought and sold to do physical labor.
Yeah.
Doesn't really mean how they're treated. I mean,
yeah. I mean, the thing is like there are different throughout history. There have been different forms of slavery. So
yeah, like in Africa, right? There was you got conquered and were made slaves. That was I think that's how it usually works.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it happened in biblical times too with Israel. They got conquered by Babylon, or used as slaves in Egypt. And some of that slavery wasn't all bad. Some of it was fine. The Israelites themselves had slaves and whatnot, but they had rules that you had to treat them well. And basically, slavery was just, in some cases, in ancient times, and probably sometimes even now, if I don't really think anyone really uses slavery.
Well, sex slavery, but that's a different thing entirely.
Yeah. But slavery was normally used as a form of servitude, like you owed somebody a debt. In a lot of cases, it was like you owed them money or you owed them something.
It's like maids, right? Like
it's a form of servitude. It's not. You're referred to as a slave, but you have rights too most of the time. I
think a lot of people today, like SJWs, they conform it to like the
negative.
Yeah, like the like obviously what happened here in America, right?
Yeah.
But in fact, a lot of them were actually like for the house slaves. They were treated pretty well, like family almost. What I read in history and stuff.
Yeah. Well, from what I there certainly slavery is frowned upon now.
Obviously,
but there are still nations and countries that still have some form of slavery. I don't know the countries off the top of my head, but there are some that still do that. But also at the same time, not all forms of slavery in the past were considered negative or evil. And the way that it's described in this story, it's described as not really bad. She's more or less your servant or your helper who you feed and pay for.
Underworld brought up something about Shield Hero. He says he read the wiki, TV trope, and the spoiler. I know 2 of those, not the last one. And he says it doesn't seem interesting at all. It all comes off like bad self-insert fanfic. And Underworld, you spelled of, not off. Sorry, grammar Nazi here.
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah. Yeah, it might not be everybody's cup of tea. I mean, it's an isekai-based story. It's an isekai, and that's an oversaturated market for anime and manga to begin with. So, what are we on now? Well, Samurai Raccoon, we're talking about Rise of the Shield Hero mainly. Excuse me.
And other things mostly concerning literature and fiction, mostly writing stuff.
Yeah, we're mainly talking about immigrant Nazis. Yes, horrible people. How horrible it is that a person owns a slave that he treats probably better than most people are normally treated in their world. Yeah. I mean, that article mentioned, Parallel World Rhapsody. Strangely enough, he doesn't mention the fact that the character buys slaves.
Yeah.
But no, that character buys slaves too, but mainly because he just wants to be the do-gooder and he's the nice guy and whatnot. But he treats them well. But still, the point is that there are the word sometimes words just lose their meaning over time. You know?
Yeah.
Some writing lose their meaning. And
I think it's because on how the word evolves and stuff.
Yeah, it's the way that the word evolves, the way that it's perceived by the general public. I mean, when we say the word Nazi nowadays, it's like it's lost all of its prior meaning and whatnot.
I still think it has some meaning. It's just the meaning of it, like the true meaning, which is like a terrible it's a symbol of a person who did terrible things and stuff, of a political party that did terrible things.
Yeah.
It's lost meaning of that.
Yeah, because it's now everybody is a Nazi.
Yeah, if you don't agree with me, you're a Nazi, apparently.
Yeah, and that's not how it works, guys.
No.
Gaijin. Genji has an Odachi, not a katana. Huh. I can't even remember who.
He's a cyborg ninja.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Overwatch, but it just got so boring after a while.
Yeah.
I hear what they were, what they did, with Soldier 76.
It's not important.
Yeah, no, it's not important. I feel like that's like a cheap.
It's a deflection.
It's a publicity pop.
Because they've been getting so much negative publicity lately, they're desperate to.
And that's not really going to help.
Yeah, it's not. People are already pissed at you, so stop trying to damage control and just admit it.
I liked what they did with Tracer, though. That was good. Like, focus on more of her as a character than her being,
Slave has lost a lot of its meaning when it's used in phrases like wage slave and so on. Yeah.
That's a thing?
Apparently. Well, if the slave did what he was told, he was treated well from what I've studied. Yeah. That's the thing. Like in other forms of history and whatnot, if you were in servitude or in slavery to someone and you did your job well, you were treated well. Of course, there's going to be people who are abusive and do horrible things to them.
Nice, Script Doctor.
Script Doctor has been here for a while. I need to go to bed. Good night! Good night, Script Doctor. We'll see you later. Sarah Raccoon. Oh, did you just make me a moderator? My username turned blue and I got this monkey wrench. Yes! I made you a moderator, Samurai. I did. Because we're friends, and I know you pretty well. So I'm starting to add mods. Where are the wrenches in the works, Samurai? Absolutely. What? Yes. You're all my monkeys. No, I'm kidding. Please don't do that. That will not be a thing.
It was blowing so hard.
Uh-oh.
And raining so hard. I got this going in from Walmart.
You got blown around?
I got blown into Walmart.
Oh no! Poor mom.
And drenched.
Oh, poor mom.
Cab from Walmart back home.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, the weather outside has been pretty nasty, so my mom just got back home and she got blown around.
It's
dance.
Yeah, where I'm from, it's completely. There's snow starting to fall now.
Yeah, we're not getting snow. We're on the West Coast. We don't get snow very often. But what we do get is a lot of wind.
Northeast. I'm in Northeast. The Northeast.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that we were going to cover on tonight's stream. Yeah. I don't really have much else to go with. If anybody has any final questions or thoughts, they're welcome to add them. All right, fight me on the battlefield of the Great Wolven Field. What, are you guys going to start a duel or something? Come on now. I do not want my moderators fighting each other unless it's for my own amusement and entertainment. Wait till I get popcorn first.
Real quick, can I do a little shameless plugging before we end this?
Sure thing.
Thank you. So, salutations, Legion of Doom. This is your Time Lord wannabe, the Brainstormer of Pop Culture. Follow me at Brainstormer01 on Twitter. And also check out my YouTube channel, the Brainstormer of Pop Culture. I do what is basically over-glorified fan fiction, but good fan fiction, mind you. And sometimes, but I do not upload regularly, so you'll just have to be surprised when I actually do upload something. And in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Until next time.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Yeah, that's my catchphrases for my videos.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Cold and waiting on the snow that may or may not show here. Well, Maranya, I hope you don't mind being snowed in for a couple days or so. I'm not a fan of the snow. When the snow gets here, I don't like it. I don't.
It's
I will
like 24
pull this,
degrees outside for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for us, I think it's probably in the 30s. I will pull this chat section over if it gets too rowdy now. I expect you to.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. It was nice having you, man.
Yeah, no problem.
But there's a lot of chatter going on behind me right now. So
yeah. Let me know when you have another stream on, and I'll come on if you want me to.
Sure. Sounds like a fun time.
All right, man.
All right.
Peace.
See you later. I hate snow. The mister can dive in. Yeah, my mom doesn't like snow either. That's why she left Minnesota.
Yeah.
I stay inside when it snows. So does she. She also stays when there's massive windstorms. Nope, we don't. We don't like it. It's really hard to get to be mobile and whatnot. Anyway, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for joining the stream and whatnot. And if you stuck around or whatnot, hit like and whatnot. If you're new, subscribe if you enjoyed the stream or whatnot. I hope some people did. And we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
It's actually